Mortals! Mortals, 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 mortals. Hello. Is the Mystic Weave strong today? Can you all hear me? Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. And, just because I wanted to, try this, it suddenly struck me as I was just setting up at the very end. Ka-chama-chama. Alright, there. That was embarrassing. But I did it. And I think it was rather funny. Anyway. Anyway, we've been reading DOVA-SYNDROME. We've been reading DOVA-SYNDROME, which has been a ride. If you caught the last one, you know it got really real. It got really real, mortals. Very real, impossibly real. Actually, let me just think. I don't know if you guys are gonna block the text, so I'm just gonna move you down a little bit here. You can be a bit closer to me, mortals. Let's move you a bit closer to me for DOVA-SYNDROME. It can get pretty spooky. Yeah, come snuggle up. Kachama is not the demon in my right arm. The demon in my right arm I could not possibly name. And also, such a demon would be much too fierce to keep contained within this ramshackle seal. Would I ever play a horror VN? No. This is already... Listen to me. This is my maximum spook capacity. Alright? Reading this, or reading something like Fate's Day Night, is already maximum spook capacity. You're never going to get me to play Saya no Uta or something like that. That's not going to happen. Because... Just the spooky stuff in this is already spooky enough. I don't have a twin brother. Only older brothers. Alright, so. I keep hitting that. I keep opening my capture instead of opening DOVA-SYNDROME. So, we have 6 save slots, appropriately titled, as you can see. And we are going to be reading DOVA-SYNDROME Amentes Amentes. Starting from... I think we were at the end of chapter 2 or 3? It was a rather large story, rather important story beat. And if anybody wants me to catch them up on where we are plot-wise at any point, just say and I'll do my best to elucidate you. Let the reading commence. Yep, chapter 3, End of Nightmare. So we've just started chapter 4. The place was a dark room. No, a dark space. It was not completely devoid of light, but what remained amounted to very little indeed. Yet it wasn't like it stood out as though trying to assert the reason for its existence either. To put it more aptly, it yielded before the sheer power of the darkness contained within this space. The darkness lingering here would succumb to no flame, and would remain deep and thick, even in the face of 1,000 candles. Actually, let me just turn the game down just a tad. Back to where I usually keep it. I turned it up for the last stream. No mere shadows blanketed the room. The very space itself was dark. The place simply, somehow, came to possess that property, reflecting the souls of those who would gather here. Ah, it's the meeting room for those round table sons of excrement. It was a vast space, shaped like mortar, akin to a coliseum. Spots of unrefinement aside, the structure did have a sense of splendor to it, resembling a spacious hall within a massive castle. In its center rested a circular table, jet black in hue and glimmering with luster. It housed 13 seats, followed by 13 hallways leading to each. In other words, this place was built for a mere 13 people. 13. A number of ill omens. Judas Iscariot. Death in the major of the... Judas Iscariot. Death in the major arcana. And Friday the 13th. Also, an important number in basically everything Tetsuya Nomura has ever touched. Ah yes, death. The death card in the major arcana means change, does it not? A sudden change. But a lot of Japanese works that I've seen dealing with the arcana, with the tarot, often use death as a... I often see death used as a metaphor for death, based on the name, as well as the actual intended meaning. I know Persona uses it somewhat more aptly. People commonly said that the Witch's Sabbath was conducted by 13 people, for it was a most suitable number for preparing a place's spiritual environment. This very same number referred to unity and love within the Gematria. Love and unity that no doubt were alien to the situation at hand. After all, those kinds of affections were things oft manipulated by subjectivity. One could count several vacancies among the seats of the Round Table. Out of 13, only 8 had been filled. The seats in question were numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, and 11. I can't speak German, so I apologize profusely and profoundly to anybody who speaks German and has to witness me butchering... I will be butchering German and Latin as I read this. That has already been occurring. But yes, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, and 11, which means we're missing 1, 7, 9, 12, and 13. Those 5. The masters of those 8 had gathered with heavy silence dominating the other 5. Number 13, Dreisen, in particular, exuded no presence to be felt whatsoever. I assume that's because that's ours. Under normal circumstances, if the master or user in question was either alive or had left some sort of lingering attachment behind, a vestige of their presence or a fragment of their will would be felt. I find it difficult to ask for pronunciation through text, honestly. As, it requires interpretation, which I'm obviously quite bad at. In this situation, however, it was as though the master was either dead, or had simply never had strong feelings for the place they belonged to. However, that concerned none of those present. Ah, it's because they all hated... It's because they all hated Zarathustra. Oh, no, what's his name? I believe he went by Hermes. Everybody has so many... Everybody has, like, at least 3 titles in this, Mortals. So it's tough to remember everybody's call signs. The 3 muttered amongst themselves in tones of joy, gloominess, and displeasure. I have too many titles to count. I am known by many names. The red-haired girl in the seat of Arct was the first to speak up. So Arct is 8. So that's got to be Rusalka. And yes, I've got many titles. I have the the Crimson Abyss. That's a good one. That's a really solid one. I like that. As expected of Karchama. No, listen. I just wanted to emulate Hachima for like 3 seconds. I'm not comparable to Hachima in any sense, and certainly not in the many exceptional senses in which Hachima is exceptional. I am merely a powerful cursed being. You're not going. Listen, models. You're not going to fluster me on a dice irae. I'm not going to be flustered in a dice irae reading. You're not going to call me cute and get away with it. This is serious business. And yes, wait. I could defeat Akai Hato in a fight. I'll say that.
ああ、まったく懐かしいじゃねえかよ、この感じ。お前は初めての経験だろうが、どう？
Vere filius di erat iste. これが清掃のステグマなら光栄だが、彼らは
Greetings, greetings, greetings. Hello, 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 hello. But none of this cute business. Vere filius de erat iste. Sieben nun Zoif. Turning towards the three empty seats, K threw each of them a glance.
私は団の上位にいる方々と面識がない。狩猟副狩猟閣下のことはすでに十分聞き及んでいる。
Ah!
幹部お三方については知識不足だ。
Is everyone okay? There was a slight attack just now, mortals. You have to be on your guard around me. I'm dangerous to be around. The society is after me, after all. Anyhow. Yes. Hi, hi. So the ones at the remaining three at the top are 7, 9, and 12. That's an interesting combination.
今後対面した時に恥をかかないよう、よければ教えてほしいのだが。
Yes, the Society, a shadowy organization pulling strings from, well, the shadows. In response, Rusalka gleefully uttered one name. Wilhelm casually spat out another. Finally, Valeria Trifa proudly added the third. Wait, those are the three from the very prologue, right? The little boy, and the man who punched tanks to death, and the fire woman. Yes, exactly, Congo. The society is capitalized. It is the society, not society. I suppose you could compare them a bit to the Lale Lulelo. They have powerful members. Perhaps calling their names held up some sort of spiritual significance in this place. For all three seats lit up ever so dimly the moment they were uttered. They glowed in white, red, and black, the three colors that symbolized the Haken crews. Haken crews?
ハイドリヒ教の直属でもある3人の大隊長。言うまでもなく恐ろしい方々ですが、どなたも礼を強要する。
No, I can say patriots. I can say patriots.
かしこまる必要はないですよ。
I can say patriots. I can say patriots. I can say patriots. I am not a tool of the Lalelulelo. I'm not a tool of the patriots. I can say patriots. I don't have the nanomachines. But then, wasn't Drebin a tool of the Patriots, and he could say Patriots? So, wait, why am I digging myself into this hole? I don't work for the Patriots. Such a notion is foolishness itself, mortals, honestly. No. I'm pretty sure it's revealed at the end that the reason he knew so much about the B&B was because the Patriots had him deliberately assist Snake so that Snake could take down Ocelot, who was trying to take down the Patriots, you see? Don't call me Lali Lule Lomine. And yes, I have no need for nanomachines. See, here's the thing. See, Machina and Samiel. Those are their titles, as opposed to their names. So we don't know all the correlations. Yes, that's exactly why. Because if Drebin had been unable to say Patriot, Snake would have absolutely been not willing to work with him.
我々のスティグマは清掃に貫かれた証であり、服従の印です。大隊長殿らは その誓いを我々の数倍強く受けている。故に破る者を許さない。とはいえレオンハルト、この場であなたにそのような心構えを解くのもまた今更な話だ。
I must say, Leonhardt is quite the code name. I'm fond of the term Leonhardt, obviously on account of Squall Leonhardt. But I'm not sure Kay really deserves it.
スティグマがうずく、血を流す。これはすなわちハイドリ秘境がご帰還なされるという前兆であり、スワス地下が機能しだしたという証です。
Tamaro lalilulelo.
となれば皆さん、これより我々がなすべきことをいかように考えていらっしゃるか。
当然。
Wilhelm let out a snort, as if he found it offensive that Trifa would ask such an obvious question.
条件が整ったなら速攻で発動させる。俺らで片っ端から陣を起こしていけばいい。
そしてベルリンの再現ですか？あなたは血の気が多くていけない。
There's not much to comment here. This is the classic evil organization meeting where they have more knowledge than you, so it is simply foreshadowing.
欲求不満が溜まっ
You
て
must
いるの
simply
は
pay
わかりま
attention
す
and
が、
remember.
ことはそう単純ではありませんよ。副首領閣下の術について我々は知らぬことが多すぎる。もし仮に先走ってスワス地下の一角でも発動不能にしてみなさい。すべてがスイッチに移してしまう。
This is the end of Sora no Kiseki SC. This is every Kiseki game when it comes to Ouroboros. Those wacky enforcers and their decades-long schemes are...
さて、私に神の声が聞けるとは思えませんがね。あなたでもそのような信仰を持っているのですか？
Perhaps one day we will know exactly the true extent of what they're up to. In perhaps, I don't know, 2030.
堕落司祭が抜かしやがる。おとぼけはいらねえ。たるいこと言ってんじゃねえよ。てめえはなんだ？俺らを抑えて。
Yes, it only took over a decade and about 8 games or so. 9 games.
タクラムとはまた人聞きの悪い。私はただスワス地下を完成させる順序を見極めようとしているだけですよ。
順序。レオン。
One day, perhaps, if all of Trails becomes playable in English on PC, perhaps we'll run through it all together, mortals, and I can demonstrate to you Kiseki/Trails, the series, to you. It's a series that's awfully near and dear to my heart.
手順、法則、公式、条件。魔道も科学も思想も政治も。
Silver Whale Golden Wings. I couldn't do that justice.
まるでお役所仕事みたいな感じで面倒なのよ、基本的に。
So, more of an Ars Magna, they become inflexible. Strict rules. So much of this is above our heads at the moment, mortals. We must raise up our heads with our knowledge. Wait, Ilska. Do you mean trails in the sky? Okay, stop. There's trails in the sky, and then there's trails in the sky SC, and then there's trails in the sky the third. And then after the sky arc, there's trails from Zero. Which are you? Oh my god. Have you played Trails in the Sky FC? But never... Go play SC, go fly, run, be free. Go play second chapter. Go. They're the same game. You've stopped halfway through a game. Trails in the Sky and Trails in the Sky second chapter are the same game. It was cut in half during development. It was originally it was all planned out as the same game. It's a single unbroken story. Oh, TT started with Cold Steel. That is a wicked thing that has been done to you. That is a wicked thing. I myself was tricked into playing Cold Steel before the Crossbelt arc, and I myself deeply regret it. It's fine wherever one starts, but I have such an appreciation for the order of things. As long as one can go back. As long as one can go back from Trails of Cold Steel to Sky. And there is much of Cold Steel, I suppose, that must be so much better on a replay after having played Sky and Crossbelt. But one definitely shouldn't start with Cold Steel 3 or Heaven Forbid 4, because they're so interconnected with previous arcs. Ah, yes. Mercurius. Hermes Trismegistus. The darkness in the space began to sway. Each of those currently present had their own ideas in mind regarding those words. For Wilhelm had just uttered something nearing the realm of taboo. Hello, hello. Wouldn't it be nice to have a meeting like this, mortals? Gathering around a round table, cloaked in darkness. Going through the daily affairs, plotting things. In other words,
副首領閣下の手のひらの上であると驚きましたね、米中尉。あなたの口からまさかそのような言葉が聞けるとは。
っていうかあなた、適当な理屈つけて暴れちゃいたいだけじゃないの？
否定はしねえよ。だがな、
これ以上後手に回るつもりもない。誤差は攻めながら修正すればよいとおっしゃる。
Despite his words, Trifa's lips slithered into a broad smile. The priest may have been thinking the very same thing, surprisingly enough. Or perhaps they all did.
我々ごときが占領したところで、ことはなるようにしかならず、決まっているものは揺るがない。ならば小賢しい議論などやめ、ただの暴力装置として意義を発揮すればよいと。なるほど。いかにもあなたらしく、暴論ながら的を射ている。とはいえまだ残念ながらホロコーストを承認するわけにはいきませんよ。
なぜ？
ごくごく個人的な事情ですが、その前に知っておきたいことがありましてね。いわゆる鬼の犬間にというやつです。
鬼？あらちょっとクリストフ、今のセリフは不敬なんじゃないかしら？
Wait a second.
罰はハイドリ秘境がご帰還なされた後に慎んで受けますよ。ともかくこれはあなた方のためでもある。
Was that Oni? Did they use a Japanese saying involving an Oni instead of? Did they use a Japanese saying involving an Oni and they swapped it for when the cat's away in order to make it make sense in English, and that led to it being a cat instead? Because I swear I heard Oni, but I don't speak Japanese, so.
と取られても仕方ありませんが、願わくば今しばらくの静観を。よろしいですか、皆さん。
So Trifa is involved with them, which means... Oh boy.
まあ分かったわよ。あと一度だけあなたの顔を立ててあげる。
Oh, you know the saying, Congo. Excellent, excellent. By all means, let us have it. It is so very useful, you know, having you here. Thank you so much.
現在の最高指揮権があなたにある以上、私も従うまでですが。
結構。それで米中尉は？
いいだろ
Grinding his teeth, Wilhelm gave a nod.
う。あんたのことだ。どうせえげつねえこと考えてるんだろうがよ。俺も長くは待てねえぞ。
もちろん。数日中に結論が出るはずです。彼も到着したことですしね。
Trifa directed his gaze at the seat of Ten, or Zen. Oni no inu ma ni sentaku, or doing one's laundry when oni are absent. That's an interesting saying. There's a lot to be said for various regional sayings. I quite like how they flavor the lexicon of a language. I know a lot of English sayings. I easily draw upon them in conversation and in writing. Feverishly thin, spider-like man with abnormally long limbs. It felt strange, thoroughly peculiar. After all, the other men and women gathered in this place were of exceptional looks. Did they not pride themselves on their excellence, being unmatched in brawns and brains and beauty alike as the elected handful, the chosen few? After having invited all the gazes of those present, the peculiar-looking man rose from his seat with a sinister smile on his lips.
久しぶりの再会早々恐縮ですが、生産杯芸家のご意向を尊重するため、しばらくの間、私の指示に従っていただきたい。
Well, you're not exactly a looker, my good sir. In fact, I would say that you are the opposite of that, insofar as this game's art style can be determined.
ついてはレオンハルト。あなたに少々協力してほしいことがありましてね。
私に？
Ah, Leonhard is in uniform tonight. As expected, it is a meeting.
あなたにしかできません。
Oh, look at that face. That's not a pleasant face, mortals.
ベイもマレウスもバビロンも残念ながら役者不足。カインは初めから論外ですし、
See, that
増
always
年
with the
金とは未だ協力的とは言えません。
always with the titles. So Bay is okay, and Malleus is Rusalka, and Babylon I don't know. I'm not sure who Cain is. This is the
あ
problem.
なただからお願いする。
I only have the full set of names for a couple of them. No, my notepad is in my brain. After throwing a glance ripe with suspicion at Trifa, Kay spoke up. It's only because it's been so long since we did the third Dice Irae stream. Okay, it's only because of that. It's been so long. I would really like to like as soon as I get back into it and we're on the weekly, we'll do very nicely. I'm not. I do like to take down notes for important things, but when it comes to media, when it comes to video games and visual novels and books and such things, my brain is, listen, mortals, my brain is so packed with this information. The information from from media, from manga, games, anime, visual novels, etc., books, that is all that occupies my brain. I know nothing about basically anything other than that. Obviously the techniques of a powerful being, but aside from that, mortals, I don't know anything about the mortal realm or anything like that. I am clueless on a great swath of topics. So when it comes to things like this, I would like to at least leverage the fact that my brain can only remember things like this. and take it as a point of pride.
いいだろう。私にできることなら協力する。
結構決まりましたね。では、
Ah, you look really weird with your eyes open, Treva. The divine vessel's mouth curled into a confident smile, and none of the others vetoed the decision. For the priest's smile rekindled memories of dread engraved deep upon the souls of all present save for Kay. He doesn't know about the tri-quadratic Savannalist formulae? No, I don't, but that sounds like math, and mathematics is, that sounds like mathematics, and mathematics is heresy, so... The memory of the destruction and absolute smile that belonged to the aberration they knew as the Golden Beast. So there's another because Goldilocks is their leader. Chapter 4, Odessa. Ah, so you're saying that tri-quadratic Savannalist formulae is not an actual term. Interesting. You would not know with math. You would not. You would be set adrift. My favorite character that is math related is Sho Minamimoto from The World Ends With You, because I'm pretty sure the developers have confirmed that he is not actually that good at math, but he is so viciously themed after it in all that he says. How many people could place complete and absolute faith in their own ability of self-restraint?
最近はもう綾瀬さんの稽古に付き合ったりしないんだね。
Ah, gulp. That was a drink. 5D hyper... I simply navigate 5D hyperspherical planes of existence with my sheer force of will, honestly. It's elementary. And, yes, you can love something that you're not good at, but one always feels a twinge, I think, of, I don't know. Obviously, you can love something you're not good at, but in my case, when I love something and I'm not good at it, I always feel a bit disappointed, perhaps. Anyway, so Rhea lives currently at the church where Trifa is residing, and Trifa is obviously mixed up with the Round Table, so that's bad for our senpai. As I entered the rooftop, which had become my staple place of escape, I was addressed by a voice that had also become somewhat a staple of the place.
っていうか君、綾瀬さんと話してる？そういう
Aha!
状況見ないんだけど。
The sandwiches are back. This was how we were first introduced to Rhea.
別に
I'm already
喧嘩して
nostalgic
るわ
about
け
it.
じゃないんだよね。どうなの、藤井君？
別に。
I gave her a half-assed answer and leaned against the fence. I wasn't going to do something like sit next to her on the bench. Never again.
喧嘩なんかしてないですよ。
Oh.
ただ。
Oh, Ren. Oh.
何？
ちょっと一人になりたいんで。
それはつまり私もどっか行けっていうことかな。
ええ。
ショック。
She may have said that, but her face was expressionless as always. So Ren is now completely disconnecting from his daily life because he's about to have to become a monster, basically. By the way, we'd had this kind of conversation every time over the past few days.
私は君を構ってるわけじゃなくて、ただこの場所が好きっていうだけなんだけどね。置物だと思ってくれればそれでいいのに、君はここ以外で一人になれそうな場所を知らないの？
ええ。
困ったね。
そうですね。
As we repeated this pointless conversation, all the while avoiding eye contact, the long-awaited bell rang.
お昼休みおしまい。
Where did everything go so wrong? Everything went wrong almost nearly immediately since starting this, but it took so long for Ren to catch up. It was annoying when I got dragged into her flow, but at times like this I felt grateful for it. After all, she didn't try to get in my way of skipping classes. That was the clear difference between her and Kasumi. That said, now I could finally take a breather, just as I heaved a mental sigh of relief.
じゃあバイバイ。私行くから。あと藤井君、もし寒かったらだけど。
すみません。
Oh, she must have touched him.
急に寄ってこられたからびっくりしたっていうか。
ショック。
Oh no, look at that face. Mortals, we have... Ah, Ren. Ren, normally I would be furious.
藤井君なんか嫌いだ。
And with that, Himura left the roof. Normally I would be furious at Ren for doing this. However, his reasoning in the current situation is somewhat justified. I ended up sitting down where I stood. I felt a mixture of guilt and self-loathing well up in me at once, but I was in no position to go after her and try to ease things up. It had only been 3 days since I put an end to the serial killings, so for those who aren't aware, it would turn out that Kasumi had been behind the serial killings, acting as our agent for Ren, and so Ren had to reclaim his guillotine from her, using sheer force of will. And now has to participate in all this so that Kasumi never has to deal with it again. I shall not blame Ren. Not anymore. There wouldn't be any more murders. I wouldn't let there be any more. I swore that I'd keep people around me from getting involved with all this. Especially Kasumi. Since she had no memories of those days, she could continue to lead a normal, peaceful life as long as I kept quiet. Sakurai and Rusalka seemed to no longer have any interest in her either. Yes, Kasumi is the best. Kasumi is the best girl. That is quite simple. But the possibility of her getting involved again would rise substantially with every minute she spent with me. Still, the bigger problem was... My neck ached like this from time to time. I felt a coiling discomfort, like something tickling me from the inside of my skull through my cervical vertebrae, and I couldn't for the life of me shake it off. Furthermore, I've been getting waves of violent urges billowing within me each time it happened. Just a minute ago, I couldn't take my eyes off the nape of Himura's neck. This is why we are not mad at him. This is why we are not mad at him. This was trouble. I knew he would have a good reason. As in seriously dangerous. That was the reason I'd avoided interacting with others, including Kasumi. I had no idea what would happen if I let my guard down for even a second. So the urge to cut, to decapitate, is now within him. So my best course of action would probably include running away from home and lying low in parts unknown. I was actually tempted to do just that, but changed my mind before I could act on it. Judging from what Rusalka said the other day, those guys had business with the school itself. Considering she'd been skipping school ever since, with only Sakurai showing up, I figured she might have been full of shit. But I was still really worried. If those psychos did something in the school while I wasn't around to do anything about it, I was sure I'd regret it for the rest of my life. I don't think there's any meds to take for this sort of condition. The fact remained that I was putting this place in more danger just by being here. On the other hand, I wasn't sure if I could live with myself in case something happened while I was away. So was I supposed to stay or leave? It all came down to that ultimate choice, and in the end I chose the former. Though I honestly wasn't confident that an answer produced from my cornered mindset could be the correct one.
抑え込むのにここくらい適した場所もないしな。
The fact that I could picture the worst case scenario here with the utmost sense of reality made it the most likely place where I could retain my sanity despite the situation. And that was the second reason why I'd go to school instead of hiding. In all honesty, I felt terrible exposing all these students to such danger with this reckless gamble of mine, but unless I did something, I'd... Only a few people have my phone number, I'm pretty sure. A text? A certain conviction and anxiety welled up within me. I reflexively took out my phone and opened it. Sure enough. Stay on the roof until school ends. I'll see you then. Sakurai. Leonhardt wants to talk. Leonhardt wants to talk. Leonhardt wants to talk. Oh, yes, she wants to talk with us. And that's good news, mortals. To be honest, this was the turn of events I'd been waiting for.
落ち着け。
After all, if we don't move the plot forward by talking to Leonhardt, how are we supposed to kill every single member of the Round Table for enacting this situation on Kasumi? How will we reach Mercurius and punch him in the face for this? Muttering that, I did my best to stop myself from shivering.
早く。
In my current state, I felt confident I could. Sakurai arrived shortly before sunset.
お待たせ。
And now, mortals, we groove. I decided not to ask the obvious questions of how she knew my phone's address or that I was on the roof. Asking someone as abnormal as her would have been pointless. The light of dusk on the rooftop reminded me of the sunset in that dream. The place now looked just how it did when Shiro and I had that fight. Jesus, talk about an ominous place and time. Nothing that could happen here would surprise me at this point.
こうした話をするのはあの夜以来になるけれど、調子はどう？なんて愚問か。辛そうね。
Yeah, I'm not doing particularly well, Kay. Sakurai spoke in very business-like tone, her voice exhibiting little to no emotion. Yet even that voice of hers made me antsy. It felt akin to a kind of suffocating craving. I wished I could slice her head off right here and now. That sort of impulse. And I was brutally confident that I could very well do it. I had to calm myself. It was not yet time for that.
わかるのか。
ええ、私もそれは経験したから。正直。
She went through the same thing?
ずいぶん我慢してるみたいだけど。
Wait,
よくないわよ、そういう。
so this bloodlust isn't Ren exclusive. Everybody on the round table has? That's interesting.
何が？
ずっと2のままだから。
Staying as two forever.
言ったと思うけど、足し算続けていかないと強くなんかならないわよ。そのままで勝てるなんて思わない方がいい。
Not yet. I needed to restrain myself. I still had a ton of things to ask her. After inhaling a deep, shaky breath, I spoke up.
勝てると思うなって。お前たちにか。
違う。それによ。
Wait, they're not the final boss?
ねえ藤井君、少し落ち着いてくれないかしら。それがどれだけ難しいかは理解してるつもりだけど、今のところあなたに対して敵意はないから。信じられない？何も言わないなら都合のいいように解釈するわよ。あなた、私に聞きたいこととかあるでしょ。マレウスよりは親切だって自信もある。彼女と違って日本人だし、年も同じはずだからね。
This is why we wanted to talk to you at that time at the first place.
もしかしたらあるかもしれないし。
But you weren't available. You were talking to Bay. Well, we had to deal with Rusalka.
年？
そう。彼女はああ見えて私たちの15倍近く生きているから。嘘じゃないわよ。
バカな。
So 15 times older. They're Japanese high schoolers. Ren has a senpai, so he's probably, let's say 17 for both of them. 17 times 15. It is 15, isn't it? 17 times 15, don't help me mortals, would be 17 times 10 is 170. 100 times 5 is half of 170, 150, 35, 85. So 170 plus 85, which would be 255? Oh! You were... I actually did have my eyes closed. I'm sorry, mortals, I had my eyes closed. So I didn't see you guys saying 255, but you were very quick on the draw. You have fast brains, mortals. You have fast brains. Very smart. Very smart. Very smart mortals. Good, 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 good. Pat, 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 pat. You did good. I'm very proud of you. But 255 years ago, that's... So that means Rusalka... These characters are all associated with Nazi Germany. But Nazi Germany was surely only around 100 years ago. Give or take. Congo, that is what I did do. That's what I did do. As far as I'm aware. I'm not sure how much my process came through as I was talking through it, but that is, I first took the clean 10. Then, you know, I halved the resulting amount to get 85, and then I added them together. So I did the same process. I was just slower than everyone else. Oh, Val, you cheated. It's simply the process I use for my everyday mental arithmetic. It's by no means... I have no means... But I have by no means a fast processing speed. But I don't know why you cheat, Val. I could neither laugh nor get angry at that. I feel like now this is talking about Velik cheating with the calculator. She claimed to be a witch. So, okay, so if Rusalka is... Okay, this is taking place in 2000 and... something. Alright, using 2000 as a base year, going back 255 years would be... 20th century, 19th century, halfway through the 18th century? What was going on halfway through the 18th century? So she was born in 1745. What was even occurring in 1745? Or like a couple of years later? Let's say 1765. Yes, there is no reason not to use a calculator when you have access to a computer or phone. That is optimal. We have offloaded... humanity has offloaded brain space onto machines. Almost a full century before the unification of Germany. I hope I won't sound like an idiot for not knowing what the unification of Germany is, because like I said, mortals, I don't know anything about... I know so little about the mortal realm that it is embarrassing. Especially European... There's so much European history, mortals. So much European history. I only know the most briefest cliff notes. I've never studied it. I've never been educated on the subject of history. She claimed to be a witch. So originally several individual states, Prussia, Bavaria. Yeah, that... I suppose that is a certain transhumanist perspective. I personally like to maintain, well, a minimal level of disconnect between myself and my technology. Heil dir im Sieger Carmine. What does that mean? I don't speak German. Now that is not so Congo. That is not so Congo, for I conquered the medium AI in exactly a similar manner that I conquered Velik in Age of Empires. So I won. So I would have won anyway. The AI did give me slightly more trouble though. With the AI, when I defeated the moderate AI, it was a stalemate. it was a stalemate, where I won via my wonder because I could not break their defenses. However, I didn't have a siege workshop when I was fighting that AI, but I did have one for dealing with Velik's walls. Otto von Bismarck. So that's what Otto von Bismarck did. Now that I thought about it, she did say something along those lines,
ど
didn't
う
she?
やら少しだけ落ち着いてくれたようね。
Heil der im Siegerkranz was the Prussian national anthem. I see.
それでまず私の方から聞いておきたいことなんだけど、あなたは今私たちを敵視してる？
Leonhardt, you would have to be crazy not to see you as enemies.
今の俺が友好的に見えるのか？
Yes. I'll allow it. I will allow it. This is yes, Velik did not spend for killing it. Let us say that I shall owe you the points for it since it occurred on my channel. Honestly, this you people.
見えないわね。
Sakurai let out a mocking chuckle.
でも私が聞いてるのはそういうことじゃない。あなたの繊維の形を聞きたい。
Oh, have you speaking of getting killed and gasping, have you heard of Sir Christopher Lee on the set of Lord of the Rings advising the director on what sort of noise a man makes as he dies? It's a bit of a tangent, I'm aware. However, I thought that was fascinating. An actor telling the director, "Oh no, you don't want me to make this sound when I'm stabbed from behind. You want me to make this sound." Okay, because it's the air is being pushed out of the lungs, so it's like a something like that. I think. Yes, it's a really great story. It's yeah, Sir Christopher Lee was just absolutely wonderful.
防衛なのか攻勢なのか、つまり買う気なのか売る気なのか。
I mean, both, because all of you are somewhat even indirectly responsible for Kasumi being emotionally hurt, even in the slightest way. So I am now going to spend absolutely no, mercy on any of you. And you will all be crushed before me.
それは
Honestly, that sounded like a real difficult question. But I had no intention of leaving them alone, nor did I expect them to do the same with me. In fact, on that
お
night...
前ら戦争をしに来たって言っただろう。
ええ。そして開戦はまだ伸びるかもしれないとも。こちらの事情はそんな感じよ。というか、あなたがそんなざまだから。
So with Rusalka's
伸びてる
age,
と言った方がいいのかしらね。
I'm wondering if there was an attempt at their plan before Berlin. If there was because I think Berlin was like they failed their attempt to do what they're doing here with Nazi Germany. I'm wondering if perhaps there was an intent somewhere else in Europe, even before that, by the Round Table.
まあ、それは後で説明するとして、まずこちらの質問に答えてよ。買う気なのか、売る気なのか。多分、あなたはこう考えてる。俺とかすみがお前らのせい
It
で
is
こ
your
うなったの
fault.
なら。
You and that vice commander of yours.
違わない。
そう。
What?
でもね、藤井君。私たちが来ても来なくても、あなたはそうなっていたはずよ。
Yeah, again, because of your vice commander, which is a part of your organization.
いえ、あなたがそうなると分かっていたから、私たちが来たと言うべきかしら。
つまり お前たちがあらかじめ仕組んでたってことだろ。
Sakurai took my glare head on, then followed it up with a nod.
ええ、それが何？
Ah!
なんだと。
The sheer bluntness of her attitude made my mind boil. So it really was their fault that Kasumi... that I...
落ち着きなさいよ。
Kill her! Kill her already. I don't care. Just, you know, off with her head. Off with her head, go on. You know you want to.
肥大化した光線性とそれに伴う理性の摩耗。典型的ね。あなた、
Stop being so
このままだと
smug.
狂うわよ。
うるせえ。
I couldn't hold back. She was an enemy. Hell, I had doubts she was even human. In that case, it'd be fine, right? I could just do it. There was no one else around and it'd be one-on-one. Even if I her right here and now, I could probably cover up the truth. After all, this wouldn't be the first time I...
つまり、売る気ね。
A moment later, my back slammed into the wall, accompanied by a shock strong enough to take my breath away and make my ears ring.
なら、買ってあげてもいいんだけど。でもその前に、もう少しだけお話ししましょう。
Well, this is an unexpected development. An unexpected development indeed. Once I opened my eyes, I saw Sakurai's face just a few centimeters away from mine. She hung over me and practically pinned me to the wall, robbing me of my freedom. This is very clearly somewhat akin to a kabedon, and I would be excited if it weren't for the fact that it was Leonhardt. From this distance, I could see how surprisingly slender her body was. I felt her heartbeat through our overlapping chests. I don't care that she's a hero in game, you will not make me feel anything for her. Yes, avast ye harlot. Ren's heart is for Kasumi alone. I sensed a nigh indescribable chill rush up my spine. A frozen rhythm, like still, cold water. An abnormality that even someone like me without medical knowledge, or rather, that was precisely the reason why I could instinctively tell. This was not the heartbeat of a normal human. No way in hell.
離れろ。
She's evil! She's evil, I tell you.
どうして？
気持ち悪いんだよ。
失礼ね。
I couldn't move. The part of me that initiated my motions was being efficiently pinned down, especially my right hand, which was being pushed to the wall by Kay's left. Hello, hello. We're getting kabedoned. Villainesses are cool. Yes, they are cool. And they would and ordinarily a villainess as an option is pretty great. But I feel like that's not what K is. I feel like K as an option. Ah yes. Thank you, Congo. Thank you for coming. Farewell. Good fortune on your path. I have a feeling with Kay that on her route she'll just kind of support, like, transition from supporting whatever plan is going on to, like, falling for Ren and supporting him instead. And I feel, I don't know, I feel like that'd kind of make her a bit wishy-washy. I feel like that Ren's not the type to, like, I don't know. I feel like they can't, I don't know what they're doing with her, but I feel like they're not going to pull it off as well as I might like. I do agree that villainess roots are something neat. But again, she just doesn't seem that evil. Where's the cackling? You need the evil spice for a villainess route. The force she pushed with her left, cracks running through the wall. The force she pushed with left cracks running through the wall. My reading comprehension. I wouldn't know about Edelgard's route. I haven't played much of Three Houses. No woman, or rather no regular human, could exhibit such strength. More importantly, though...
痛くないでしょ？
That was the real enigma here. My arm was being driven into a concrete wall, yet I barely felt any pain. Why in the world?
麻痺しているわけじゃないわよ。今のあなたのこれが正常な感覚。
Stoically lawful evil. Meh. I'm much more neutral or chaotic evil in terms of what gets me going.
これくらいじゃ痛いなんて思えない。
In other words, actually, I have played a smattering of Three Houses. I think I got like 10 chapters in, or so, and guess which house you can guess which house I picked. I think that'll be a fun exercise for you mortals. Exercise for the reader, exercise for the viewer. Pain was essentially a signal sent to inform you that your body was in danger. There were two primary reasons I could think of why I was not feeling anything, and Sakurai denied the first one, so...
蚊に刺されて痛がる人はいないでしょう。そういうことよ、藤井君。私たちはね、とても鈍感になっていく。痛みに縁遠くなればなるほど、他人の痛みもわからなくなる。
3 swings! 3 misses! It was Golden Deer. I picked Golden Deer. And obviously I didn't pick the Black Eagles. I picked the deer. I picked the deer for Marianne. And also Claude. Claude seemed like the coolest lord, so obviously I went for him. Hilda. I walked into that. Listen. I haven't even gotten to the time skip, and I'm bad at strategy games. However, I walked into that classroom and looking at a bunch of awkward, kind of scattered in various, you know, a bunch of awkward, weird kids of various types. Like, Raphael, what's your what's your? How am I supposed to like any of these? And I've walked along with them, and now I rather quite like all of them. I like settings in which you are a teacher for a bunch of kiddos. That's why I like the setup of Cold Steel 3 so well. I feel like Rien Schwarzer works a lot better as a teacher than a student.
そのことを前提にして聞かせてもらうわ。ここで本当に私とやる気？あまり思い上がらないでほしいわね。あなたはまだ私たちに及ばない。
Lysithea is the better Edelgard. Lysithea I have a lot in common with, I feel. Apparently I have a certain younger sibling energy, and Lysithea also has a younger sibling energy, and is also scared of ghosts and the dark, and also likes sweet things. So I feel I've got a lot in common with Lysithea. I don't have the DLC, so I've never met Constance.
ああ、それともあれかしら。前にマレウスが言っていたけど。
Gulp. Unshakable conviction, the prior knowledge of a certain thing. The belief that I was not meant to die here. I didn't blindly believe in something like that.
そう。だったら。
Now, I'm not a cute mage girl. That is where myself and Lysithea differ.
言ったでしょ。あなた、このままだと狂うって。
The scar on my neck ached the moment I heard her whisper into my ear, her voice sultry, almost seductive. Speaking of that, he's not wearing his collar, is he? He's not wearing his choker, and we can't see the scar. I guess it must be further down. I felt an urge to kill and devour, to cut off her head, to end her right here and now. Even I could tell that my eyes were starting to fill up with the urge to kill, but Sakurai didn't even seem even slightly fazed by it.
殺し役を奪ったのに殺さないなんて矛盾してるわ。ストレス溜まって我慢できなくなってるんでしょう。わかるわそれ。私たちみんなが通ってきた道だもの。
This is some gazing into the abyss type stuff. Sakurai knew the true nature of these destructive impulses welling up in me. She must have gone through them too.
経験したってさっき言ったな。
ええ。今から11年前。
その時お前は
子供だったし、
She was a
我
child.
慢なんかできなかったわよ。
Oof.
もっとも、それでよかったと今は思う。これはね、藤井君。
Sakurai looked deep into my eyes and spoke as if she was whispering to something she saw within them.
あなたの何十倍も歴史を重ねて、何百何千も殺してきた人食いなの。20年そこらの人生やモラルで対抗できる相手じゃない。
But what if we can, though? What if we can oppose it with our morals? And what if that's what gets Kay to look at the possibility of another path?
私たちの中でも、初めからこれを御せた人はゼロだって聞いているし、実際、あなたがどれだけ我慢強いのかは知らないけど。
Pity and self-derision mingled in Sakurai's tone as she continued. I've never beaten since we were talking about Fire Emblem, I've never beaten a Fire Emblem game, and my first Fire Emblem game was Fire Emblem Heroes. That's how much of a casual I am when it comes to Fire Emblem. So, because like I've said before, I'm bad at strategy games. But it all lasted but a second, as Sakurai shifted back to her prior seductive tone. Yeah, I got into, what happened was I picked up Fire Emblem Heroes back when gacha was not as prolific, right at the start of it, because some friends were getting into it, and I stumbled across Nino and was like, hell yeah, she's cool. So I tried to play Fire Emblem and the Blazing Blade for her. But, I can't I'm not good at those games. I'm not good at those kinds of games.
無理しないで。溜まってるなら吐き出しなさいよ。私が教えてあげるから。
Oof. Battle Moon Wars. I've never heard of Battle Moon Wars. I'm interested with something with that kind of name.
お前が
綾瀬さんや氷室先輩じゃ無理でしょ。こんなことしてあげられるの。私以外に誰がいるのよ。
A Type Moon fan game. Oh, it's that. I knew about. I think I knew about that, but I didn't know what it was called. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to play that without reading Tsukihime first. I've got to read Tsukihime. God damn it. All I know is fate. I'm such a casual. I'm such a plebeian. I'm such a secondary.
日本人だし、同い年だし。それに、あなた好みだしね。
Kay, stop flirting. I have Kasumi.
大丈夫よ。優しくしてあげるから。
How much of this is innuendo, honestly? I don't appreciate innuendo when it's coming from her. As she uttered that, the grip Sakurai held my right hand in grew stronger. It crushed my flesh and made my bones creak. Maybe it had already broken a while back. But the pain was faint. In fact, it felt rather comfortable for some inexplicable reason. No, you will not be making innuendos to make me feel uncomfortable. None of that. A bizarre itchiness ran through my spine. Almost like a sign I would soon shed my skin.
私と戦いたいならその後で。まずは同じ土俵に立ってから。ねえ、どうするの？
俺は
I will. Are you what? This is a choice now. This is ridiculous. There. Squall was the better Leonhardt. For sure. For sure, mortals. For sure, and 7 years ago. It's the case. Okay, whatever. Maybe she is a lion. Alright. I'm kind of tempted to go for alright, but in terms of route, this seems very clearly something to put you on Leonhardt's route, and we obviously want to be on Kasumi's route. So, no. Be gone. Be gone, you foul woman, you vile fiend. Be gone.
話せ。
I put my hand between our chests and pushed, prompting Sakurai to quickly take a step back.
私は振られたのかしら。
Without answering her, I simply lifted my right arm out of the wall. Anyone's arm would have been broken after being put through all that, yet mine didn't even have a single scratch on it. Yes, thought status patrolled! Listen, we can go. We'll eventually go through her route. If we go that long, if we get past the common route and do Kasumi's, we'll eventually get to her route. However, not only is Kasumi best girl, there is apparently a recommended route order for being able to understand this game. And Leonhardt's is not at the top of that, Kasumi's is. So we can go for best girl and the recommended route order in one fell swoop. Damn it. I was already somewhat aware of this, but now I have finally become a monster. But possibly due to that realization, as well as the fact that Sakurai overpowered me earlier, my soon-to-explode mental state seemed to have cooled down a bit. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like, if it's the way I think it is... I guess it'll depend on how... It will depend on how Kasumi's route ends, right? If Kasumi's route is a satisfactory ending to the story, it will be more up in the air. But yeah, it's all. I had to pay for all 4 routes, so I might as well stream all 4 routes.
もしかしてお前俺に何かしたのか。
ええ。私の方が今のあなたより位階が上だし、そのくらいはね。
何？
つまり平たく言うと私はそれの扱いに慣れているの。もともと今日はそのことを教えるのが目的だったし。ねえ藤井君。
I hope so. I do like that. I will probably be like. It will probably take us a million years
あなたは
because
まだ私が嫌い？
because Dice Irae is going to be the first thing to fly off the schedule if I want to pack it. If I want to pack the week with something. Take a break for a week. When Persona 5 Phantom Strikers comes out, I wanna just slam that as hard as possible on stream. So that's probably we're probably not going to be doing that 2 weeks from now. Well, like 2 weeks from now, it's probably going to be a completely clear schedule. Just that game, and then when we finish that, we'll move on to something else to fill the rest of the week. I don't know how long it'll take.
まあいいわ。それしばらく持つだろうから。続きが聞きたいなら今夜もう一度会いましょう。
It'll be the first new full-on new game that we play together more. So I think that'll be pretty special. Front gate at 10.
じゃあね。
Interesting. And just like that, Sakurai left the roof. As I watched her go, a question abruptly hit me. 50 plus hours! Well, that's gonna take us a lot of time to get through considering the rate we've been going. Might be done in a year or so. She might have been bad news, but would it have been even more dangerous to keep things going as they were? And thus, in the end, I came to a decision without even pondering it. I already decided to deviate from my day-to-day life on that night, so I couldn't be getting cold feet now. That's the whole reason I resolved myself. I needed to have a calm mind and be as calm as possible, for that would allow me to deal with virtually everything thrown my way. Or so I thought, but...
ごめん、お待たせ。
I will say that her outfit is rather nice, with the coat over the red. Calm mind, calm mind. Calm mind, calm mind. Save. I feel the urge to make another Final Fantasy VIII reference, but what? Ah, yes, I know. Imagine not even having Shiva and Quetzalcoatl mortals. Imagine having no Guardian Force at all. Imagine having no GF. As Sakurai called out to me, I couldn't help but feel surprised that she was half an hour late. Or rather, disappointed.
お前、そんな顔して時間にルーズなのかよ。
Ket's bros. Quetzalcoatl is the best lightning summon by far. I like Rama's cool and all, but I would much prefer Ket's was the more iconic one. Guru would make a... Can you imagine a Hololive EN as Guardian Forces as junctionable summons? Like, whoo boy. The sheer power they have to... Gura would obviously do water element damage. I feel like Amelia Watson would do holy, like Alexander. Takanashi Kiara is fire, but might also do something kind of like Phoenix is already a summon, so... But Phoenix is a healing one, so it probably wouldn't have that effect on others. Calliope Mori would be like Odin. Zan Tetsuken, but with a scythe. And Ninomai Inanis, I'm thinking non-elemental magic damage. That's just what I think. And obviously they'd all have really cool junctionable abilities, like no encounter. Kiara resurrects your dog. Angelo is gonna need it after being shot out of Renoa's arm cannon. There are status effects in FF8, and there are status effect summons like Siren, but the most Siren is like the earliest status effect one you can get. She does silence, but Doom Train is the one, because Doom Train is a summon that just gives every... Doom Train is a train, alright, mortals? If you've never heard of Doom Train is a Final Fantasy VIII summon. You gotta do some really wild stuff to get it. You gotta go through occult magazines, you gotta do an arcane ritual to summon Doom Train. You summon Doom Train, you get Doom Train, and then you just run over your opponents with a train that inflicts every status effect possible on them. And Quistis can also learn Bad Breath from Marlboros as blue magic, using their tentacles. I've never seen Kay make this expression, but is she loose about time with that kind of face? Because she seems so stern and uptight.
いや、それはどうでもいいが。
Everyone talks about Phantom Train when it comes to Final Fantasy. But Doom Train is the best train. All trains are good though. Trains are the best. Mortals, listen to me. Trains are the best. If you want to make a JRPG, you better put trains in it. You have no excuse not to. I just didn't like waiting or keeping others waiting. Kasumi and Himuro were both surprisingly picky about time.
お前時計持ってないのかよ。
ごめんって謝ったじゃない。
On top of that, she was not sorry about it at all. Who even everybody when they fight the Phantom Train, they can't help but suplex it. I'm actually kind of interested in Wild Arms. I've never played it, but it looks like it has a lovely aesthetic. The music from that FF8 train mission now. Well, that's I mean, the one that plays in the while you're actually on the train and disconnecting. I don't know the name of it. But when it comes to the FF8 soundtrack, I really like the themes of Timber, which is martial law, and Delling City, which is under her control.
とりあえず、お
There's
前
so
が
much
どういう性格かは
so
少
much
し
good
分か
music
っ
on
た。
FF8 soundtrack.
それで今日はまともな格好をしてるんだな。
I would hardly call that outfit normal, Ren, but I have no sense of fashion. Oh. You make me smile, mortals. I'm honestly over the moon that people are interested in understanding me. That anybody on this planet, that any mortal on this planet is interested in understanding anything about me is honestly truly touching. It just makes me really happy.
ああ、これプライベートだしね。
I can't stop beaming. My face is gonna be stuck like this for a while.
プライベート？
ええ。夜に同年代の男の子と遊ぶの初めてだし。
I'm not asking to be called cute. It's an earnest statement. It is an earnest statement from a cool and powerful being. You understand, mortals?
そんな嫌そうな顔されると傷つくわね。まだ少し殺気立ってるようだけど、いい加減鬱陶しいからやめてくれないかな、そういうの。そんなに荒事が好きって言うなら、ベイあたりと変わろうか。
If you summoned Bay, we'd just kill him. Well, nothing good would come from derailing a conversation now, anyway.
わざわざ2回に分けて呼び出したんだ。説明責任は果たしてくれよ。優しく教えてくれるんだろ。だったら早く始めてくれ。
わかった。じゃあついてきて。
I don't see a reason for you to chuckle sadistically. And with that, she walked through the school gates.
けど、なんでまたこんなところに？
If we were going to come back here anyway, why couldn't we finish that conversation on the roof? If she was worried about people seeing us, we should have just waited at school for night to fall.
ちょっと調達しないといけないものがあったからね。
Ah, she went and got supplies. They're going to camp out. They're going to do a little camp on the roof. Oh my god. Oh, mortals, I just had the most brilliant idea, like a little camp out on the school roof, sneaking into school after hours with a little tent, right? Okay. So like and like a little portable stove and some snacks, maybe roasting some marshmallows or something like that. You know, you set up a little tent with sleeping bags and all that. You could play some Scrabble. Oh man. A camp out, a school roof camp out. Why did I never think of something like that before? Well, because I've never had a school with a walkable roof, honestly, but that sounds so great. I bet that's what she's stocked up on.
あと、あなたに考える時間と距離をあげたのよ。家から往復するだけでも乗り気じゃないなら面倒に感じるでしょ。
つまり意図的に二度手間を取らせたっていうことか。
Also, no, never one day. There will be no Luigi's Mansion. That's not happening. I'm not playing scary games. Cease.
ええ。そしてここに来た以上、
Unless you defeat me on
もう
the
途
field
中
of
じ
battle.
ゃ返さないわよ。覚悟ありと判断するから、ちゃんと最後まで付き合ってもらう。
Have I been camping? That is an excellent question. Yes, I have. I was in Cub Scouts that did dormitory camps, and then for a little while I aged up into being a scout, just a regular scout, and that's and that was that they did tent camps. So I would set up you set up a two-person tent with a partner and sleep in that. And also I've gone camping with my family in we went caravanning once in a caravan park, but also if you've ever been to a tent campsite park kind of place, I've gone to one of those places I think twice with my mother when I was younger, when I was really, really little. It was great because we had a 9-person. Okay, so this was like a 9-person tent. It was massive. It had, well, like massive by tent sizes. Tents are normally really small. It had 3 like rooms in it, and you could almost fully stand up in the middle room. I mean, I could because I was small. And so each of us basically got, because it was just me and my mum. Each of us got like a full room to ourselves, because it was each room was like a third of it off to the side, and then we'd use the middle room for stuff like playing Scrabble together and setting up a little table and we could also set up outside when the weather was nice, and it was right by the beach too, like a little river leading into the beach. And and at night, the kids would be playing something called Spotlight. That, like, I was really young, but Spotlight is a game where one player is walking around with a torch, and everyone else is trying to hide. And if the torch shines on you, then you're part of the search team now. Obviously, I'm not very good at it for obvious reasons. I'm sorry. I'm reminiscing. I'm reminiscing way too much. I must be boring you with my stories. Sakurai walked briskly as she spoke. And I'll play any game within reason, as long as it's not something like an RTS. Well, the most important thing, obviously, the most important element is that whoever faces me must also have something to lose themselves, or there's no point, because it's asking a great deal of me for me to play a scary game. After a short while, she stopped about halfway down the hallway.
我慢はできてる？
一応今のところおとなしくしてる限りは。
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad if it's not too boring.
そう。だったら話を始めましょうか。
And following that casual introduction, she did indeed begin.
まず、あの夜から以降、あなたの判断はおおむね賢明だったと言っていい。
By that, she most likely meant the rainy night when I saved Kasumi. According to her, my actions since then had apparently been wise, but...
屋上じゃバカにされてるような気がしたけどな。
だからおおむねと言ったでしょ。過失がないとは言ってない。特に活動以外の生物を理性で抑え込もうなんて選択は愚の骨頂よ。
An Asaya
そんなこ
level
とをしたら
honor.
よくて発狂、普通は死。最悪の場合は乗っ取られる。抑えるでも流されるでもなく、その中間を選択して最終的に乗りこなす。乗馬の経験はあるかしら？
Oh, I've ridden a horse before.
あれとは何度の経験
I
が
ran a
違う
paper route to
まあ似たような感覚
to
でしょ。
pay for. I ran a paper route to a paper route rather to. I can never say that word right. A paper route to, get some money to be able to pay for lessons, and I did that to go halves with my mother on horse riding lessons, because I went through a horse loving phase. I had a couple of I think this was before the reboot because I was very young, but a couple of classic My Little Pony dolls that I would they came with a little brush and you could brush their manes and such. So this was back before My Little Pony became such a big thing with Friendship is Magic or whatever that is. And because I was going through a horse phase, so I would read books. I would read books on horses, and I'd be like, "Oh, horses are so great." I wanted to do dressage. I wanted to do dressage so badly because dressage is just like is a lot of showmanship with a horse. I wasn't very interested in racing or fast riding or something like that. And no, I don't believe that term is apt to describe me. I'm just a big fan of. I was just going through, like I said, I was going through a horse phase. And how would I fare as cavalry? I don't think I have, I never managed to get past canter. I've never done a gallop. I only did a bit of cantering. But I was quite happy at a trot. It goes walk, trot, canter, gallop, if you don't know. But I don't think I would fare very well anymore because, like I said, I learnt horse riding as a child, and I am now an adult. Without the repeated experience, I would probably fare just as well as somebody who's never ridden a horse.
あなた、基本的な方針をかなり間違っていたけれど、評価できるところはここを練習場所に選んだ。I feel like a centaur, it would really hit your balance. It would be different because you could grip there. Because when you're imagine riding behind someone who is driving a motorcycle, right? You're sitting behind them. You can wrap your arms around their waist for balance. I feel like you could do that with a centaur as well, and so it would be much easier than with a horse. He's a hussar, he's a Hun, he's a wretched Englishman, routing Bonaparte at Waterloo. He's a dragoon on the dun, he's a Cossack on the run, he's a horse soldier timeless through and through. I don't actually know if that comes with accompanying music, so I don't know if I've just butchered that. Yeah, Centaur Lancer, Human Rider Archer would be OP. Yeah, because it would give you both ranges, wouldn't it? That would be very useful. May the 2nd, May in Shining Force 2. When we get to Shining Force 2, you'll meet May with a Y instead of May with an E, and she has a bow. She's a Centaur Archer, I'm pretty sure.
学校？
ええ。つまり非常事態にもかかわらず毎日登校していたこと。
Oh, I get it. Kay thinks that we're doing things for completely different reasons, so she thinks our actions are smarter than they are.
どうしてってそりゃ。
Throat singing intensifies. Ah, love me some Mongolian basket weaving. Because she and Rusalka were at this school, and I didn't know what they'd do in my absence. The rest was a matter of motivation.
ここで暴走したらシャレにならないことになるから、あえて排水の陣。
Yes, but that was hardly a commendable choice, was it? It was a stupid plan, no matter how one put it. Sakurai made a knowing smile, no doubt having guessed what I was thinking.
確かに。でも、それとは別のところで、あなたは分かっていたのかもしれないわね。例えば、雷があるでしょ？
Lightning.
は？
It flashes bright, then fades away, and is also one of the worst Final Fantasy protagonists. What the hell was she on about?
だから雷。落ちたら大変だし、撃たれたら死ぬ。災害よね。そして災害である以上、一定の確率で起きることは防げない。じゃあどうすればいいだろう。雷が落ちることは防げない。その場合することは
Lightning rods.
飛来神を立てることか。
その通り。
Ah, I was right.
雷を特
I
定
was
の場
right,
所に呼び
Mortals. I
込
was
む
right. I was right. I was right. I was right.
正確には由来神と言うべきだけど。
Although it draws lightning to a certain spot, the more accurate term for it. Okay, so a conductor.
あなたはこの町の由来神で、ここはそのアースの一つ。
So wait, we're the lightning rod or conductor for this city. Yeah, smart mind. I am very smart. And this is one of the electrical grounds. Wait, what's an electrical ground? Oh no.
おい、ちょっと待て。
質問は後で受けるからまず聞きなさい。いいかしら、藤君。災害は自然のものだけじゃないでしょ？
Yes, not all disasters are natural. Just look at the Cats musical. The Cats movie, rather. 50-50, there either is lightning or there is not.
人災、つまり人の悪意や過失によって起きるもの。
Sorry, mortals, I just wanted to make a
経
joke
済
like
恐
that.
慌とかいう話じゃなくて、超自然的な、あえて言うなら魔導、霊的、樹的な災害。
Not talking about economic collapse or anything. Okay, supernatural calamities, curses, spiritual forces, and sorceries. Oh, I also have just heard that it's terrible, but I have no interest in watching it because I mean I've seen how it looks.
京都とか江戸とか聞いたことない？外から役が入り込まないよう地層的に特殊な区画配置を施した町の羽。
Sure, but well, I haven't, so please explain it to me. How are Kyoto and Edo divided up?
でも言ったように災害を完全に防ぐことはできない。
Wait, Anya
Ah,
Melfisa watched the Cats movie?
わかるわよね。ユーラシンよ。
Much respect for the dagger. Okay, Kato.
不幸を意図的にある特定の場所へと流し込む。早い話。
sacrifices bait. Yep. I'm
未
picking
だに
up
こ
what
うい
you're
う
putting
ことを
down.
している地域は実のところ結構ある。例えば霊道が走っているような町の玄関口に疲れやすい家系の人間を意図的に住まわせたり、彼らは自覚無自覚に関係なく結果として呪いをその身に負わされる。大勢の人が幸せになるために誰かが貧乏くじを引かされるのよ。これは普通一般の世界でもよくあることじゃないかしら。
Someone has to get the okay.
あなた
Okay.
はこの町に起きる災害を清掃13騎士団副首領メルクリウスの再来という大災害をその身に受けるべく用意された由来神、それを指して私たちはツァラトゥストラと呼
We're
んでい
getting
る。
some good lore here. Good explanation of what's going on. So Mercurius is going to show up, and we're here to take all the disaster. So we're screwed, basically.
だけどあなたはまだ不完全で自浄作用が低い。現時点で許容量を超える災害に打たれたから周囲の人間を感電させてしまうのよ。そうしないと自分自身が燃え尽きてしまうしね。
I actually don't know how a lightning conductor or lightning rod works. So I have no idea if they have a limit on the amount of lightning they can handle.
でもそれはどちらもあなたの望むところじゃないでしょ。だからそういう意味で毎日投稿していたのは英断だった。ここは言ったようにアースだし誰も感電させず放電するのに向いている。
How is that the case, though?
綾瀬さんとの二人三脚もだいぶ役に立ったんでしょうね。今はあなたが一人で引き受けてるわけだけど合計して都合10日誰も殺さず焼き切れもしない時間を確保できたのは
But how is this like an
どうも国に値
electrical
する。
ground?
少なくとも人命を尊重するなら誇っていいとこんなことを私に言われても嫌味に感じるだけかしら。
いや
Even still, the number of people who died, or in Sakurai's words, got shocked, wasn't zero. Kasumi was simply used as a tool for that. You couldn't charge a gun or a knife for murder, so I should have been the one to bear that responsibility. I had to get rid of the source in order to atone. Same went for the disasters Sakurai was talking about, as well as the one responsible for all of them.
私たちが憎いでしょうね。
Yes. Her face betrayed no emotion as she said that.
いいわよ別に。好いてくれとは言わないしそんな必要もないものね。確かにあなたの不幸は私たちが存在しなければ起きなかったことなんだし、だから元凶を代表して私があなたに教えてあげるわ。
I'm not going to accept my fate. I'm going to kill all of you, going through you one by one with a guillotine.
まるで死ねって言われてるような気がするな。
普通の学生としての藤井蓮には今すぐ死んでほしいわね。もうあなたは私たちの仲間なんだし。
You just don't want to be alone as a freak, trying to drag the only other Japanese one into your little circus. I don't like you, Kay.
仲間だと。
私もベイもマレウス
You're
も
a freak.
それぞれ種類は違うけど有来神。身に災害を飲んでいる。その使い方を教えてあげるって言ったでしょ。
使い方ね。
There was but only one way to wield a disaster.
殺し屋にでもなれっていうのか。
そんなチャチなものじゃないわよ。けどまあなんであれ拒絶する気はないんでしょ。私の提案、飲まなければ周りが感電していくだけよ。殺意を制御して思考性を持たせること。
Yeah, direct murderous impulses towards you. That should work.
一つ。
I pointed my finger at her. It probably would have been for the best not to say this, but I had to.
その思考性がお前らの方を向いてもいいんだな。
Ren, you absolute legend. We are of one mind. We are of one mind on this. We two are of one mind. This is excellent.
望むところよ。言ったでしょ。あなたがそうなってくれないと私は困る。これはゲームよ、藤井君。半世紀以上前に頭のおかしな魔術師が企画した鬼ごっこ。
A game of hide and seek devised by an insane sorcerer over half a century ago.
自分を捕まえ屈服させてみせろ。それができればお前たちに、いや、これはあなたに関係ないか。とにかく私たちはあなたを獲物と思っている。
We're gonna kill some people
危険なほど
that
価値
are
の高い。
bad.
私たちの母体になった組織はね、入団の時に槍でイノシシ狩りをしたそうよ。だからあなたには強い牙を持ってほしい。
What's this? The organization that eventually developed into the Obsidian Round Table. I wonder what it was.
殺して名誉を得るためにか。
In other words, she wanted to make me stronger so I could become a prey worth killing. What a messed up reason. It honestly made me want to laugh. This concept makes you want to see what the Third Holy Grail War looked like. I mean, you can't. We know a bit from Hollow Ataraxia, because Hollow Ataraxia has some stuff from the third. Yeah, from the Third Holy Grail War. We know we know a couple details about the assassin and the sabers. The fact that there were two sabers summoned by the, you know, a unique property of the not the Ironsburns. What's the Edelfelts? The Edelfelts. Well, the World War II aspect of the Third Holy Grail War is tackled more in Apocrypha, where I'm pretty sure it's stolen. The Grail is stolen by the Nazis. What a messed up reason. It honestly made me want to laugh. But now that I'd heard this, there was no turning back. In the end, these guys were my enemies regardless of what happened. I needed power, strength, and I'd even been granted a weapon. Fighting was my only choice, unless I wanted to die.
その顔、承諾したと思っていいのね。じゃあ前置きはこれくらいにして講義を始めようかしら。
Satisfied, Sakurai gestured towards a classroom.
長くなるから中でしましょう。
You're wearing a jacket, woman. How cold can you get?
まずあなたが飲んでいる災害の名前を教えてあげる。
Sakurai leaned against her own desk, then slowly began talking. You're not even gonna sit down?
生異物。聞いたことある？この単語。
I love how it's honor, but she's saying seibutsu. Ancestral heritage.
一応
I could more or less understand what it meant from the name and how others had talked about it up until now.
宗教の聖人が残したものだろ。
Like a
釘
steak
と
or a
か
cup.
杯とか。
Yeah, Apocrypha is I didn't like a lot of aspects of Apocrypha. I mean, I had fun watching it, and there's lots of fun characters, but I feel it stumbled in a lot of places.
ええ、それはキリスト
I
教
really
の
want to see Strange Fake get
普通挙げ
animated.
られるのはそのあたりだけど、聖人の異物というカテゴリーなら古今東西に該当するものが出てくるのは理解できる？
まあそうだろうな。
Christianity was famous, so relics from them came to mind first, but there were many religions. Likewise, there had been many people known as holy men. Like Shingon Buddhism, it may not have looked like it, but even they probably had holy relics. Mordred and her master as actual MCs, that would have fared better. Yes, Sieg and Janu kind of, like, it leaves a bad taste because Sieg and Janu don't, like they're so clearly the protagonists, but they don't show up for a little bit. For just a little bit. They don't get the focus for just a little bit, and it leads you to think that it is indeed Mordred and her master. But like, they're not the only interesting the fact that there's only one Master of Red really kinda, yeah, I don't know. Well, two Masters of Red. You know what I'm saying. The point is that basically it just had some great fights. I particularly like every fight Achilles was in. Achilles had great fights.
それが？
うん。だったら質問するけど、聖人って何？
Somebody who is really good at talking.
何って？
聖なる人、尊い人、人とは違う人。つまり超人、逸脱者。
I can't remember the soundtrack of Apocrypha outside of the openings, actually. Yeah, 2 sets of servants is already 14 characters. So then you've got to adding in another 14 as all masters. Yeah. Yeah, I see what I get it. It really is something that should be tackled by ensemble casts. By writers that are good at ensemble casts. Not the cast themselves shouldn't write their own story. That'll get hectic real fast, especially if it's an ensemble cast and they're all arguing with each other about what to write. Now it sounds like a Carnival Phantasm skit, but I do think I would like to see another Grail War story. Some real classic stuff. There's a lot of servants in Fate Grand Order that aren't in other material, and I'd really like them to be in some material that like delves deep into them and creates new masters that gives them relationships with those masters, you know? Oh, I should learn that. I should learn how to sing that. We're not going to get Carnival Phantasm Season 2. But at least there's Fate Grand Order Phantasm. At least that's going to be a thing. Yeah, exactly. It feels like a waste for them to be used just for gacha. We want to see them in other stuff, in big stuff, in proper stuff. Like I remember seeing like a little fan comic for Medib, all right, that had it was just like a vertical strip, right, of panels that had like a conversation between Medib and like a hypothetical Holy Grail War master, and it made me much more invested in Medib's character and like in the character of this individual who does not exist outside this short comic strip. More than, you know, all of reading. I think she shows up in America, reading all of that in Fate Grand Order. I hope I'm not embarrassing myself by pronouncing it wrong. But the point is that the relationships between it's Maeve. It's Maeve. Maeve. Okay, so Maeve. But yeah. So what? Like, I feel like a really strong aspect of Fate is the relationship between the master and the servant. And that's why Extra works really well, because there's such strong master-servant relationships, and you yourself as the player, and you know, the player character, you forge that relationship with your servant. But in Grand Order, there's only one master, and it's you, and it's not like a character like Fujimaru is not much of a character. Gudako and Gudao are not much of a character compared to Hakuno, because they're all just self-inserts for the player. So all of the interesting characterization of them comes from fan works and stuff like that, and like adaptions. Huh? So that's where the name Maeve comes from. It's that's wow. That's neat. Maeve is a pretty name. I'm not ever going to. I don't know. I'm not ever. I don't think I'm ever going to be in a position to have kids. Though I mean that's been my assumption my whole life. But I feel like Maeve would be a really cute name for a girl. Anyhow, what was I saying about? Yeah. Master-servant relationships. They're very good. They're very good in Fate, and they need more focus. So give us more of those, please, and you know, less Fate Gorda, Fate Grand Order. Give us a little less of that, please.
常識的に考えられないような、まっとうな神経じゃやれない偉業の達成者。それを聖人というのなら、同行した人殺しも聖人と言えるはずよね。
Servant interactions are interesting, but I feel like the masters should have a considerable focus. I think that's what made Fate Stay Night and Hollow Ataraxia and all that work really well. Is that the masters aren't just there to be like people who have to give a reason for servants to be there. They need to be important to the plot. Fate Gordo. Fate Gordo from Undernight. I mean, of course Heracles and Medea had no real interaction in Fate Stay Night, despite having had a significant relationship in their original myths. Heracles in Stay Night is Berserker. If he was any other class, if he did not have Madness Enhancement, then you could have expected that to be touched upon, but given that Heracles has such a limited ability to be characterized because of Madness Enhancement, there's not a whole lot you can do with that. Especially considering, I mean, it's just the way it shakes out, considering the roles of Caster and or Berserker in each respective route. You know? God, I love how the way the order of the servants getting defeated changes in each route, and how that changes the character focus. Like Caster gets barely any focus in Fate. Like she doesn't get enough focus in the Fate route, but in Unlimited Blade Works we get the real scoop, and in Unlimited Blade Works it's Ryder who gets cut short. But meanwhile, like she was a major opponent in the Fate route. But then to really get the deep dive on Ryder, you need to. It's Heaven's Feel. I really love that. I'm sorry if I'm spoiling Fate for people. Read the VN. But I just love that story design, that structure.
一人殺せば犯罪者だけど、1000人殺せば英雄になれる。100万人殺せば征服者だし、絶滅させれば神よ。
Counterpoint. Kill no man, and you are a hero.
それはつまりそういうもの。
Yep, that's the ways of Berserkers. They skirt around that perhaps even a bit too much in Grand Order. Though I shouldn't complain, my favorite girl is Kiyohime and she's a Berserker from Grand Order. Yes, read the VN, you damn secondaries. Because, listen, mortals, if you don't read the VN of Fate Stay Night, how are you supposed to read Hollow Ataraxia, the single greatest work ever produced in the Fate franchise? Yeah, Kyo can speak inherently, that's the thing. But, like, the whole point is that her madness enhancement is just being a complete yandere. Sakurai pointed at my right hand.
俺の何十倍も歴史を重ねて何百何千も殺してきた人食い
Of course you don't lie to her. I don't lie to anyone. I don't lie to you mortals. I'm not smart enough to lie to people. I'm very honest. That it can be troublesome sometimes. Because I worry about being rude.
そう。私たちが生物と呼んでいるのは主にそういうものばかり。同行してどしがたいほど血を吸った暴力装置。ナイス。だから常識でありえないレベルの怨念や呪いを帯びているわ。ただの器物がある種の意志を持つほどに。
There's nothing cute going on here. There's nothing cute going on here. Absolutely nothing cute is occurring here.
「あなたのそれギロチンでしょ?最初は分からなかったけど、あの夜以降博物館から消えたみたいだしね。間違いない。
A guillotine slumbered within my hand, one that could reap heads with utmost ease. I instinctively knew what Sakurai was talking about. No, there's no cute mine. There's no cute mine. There's just regular Carmine. Stretch. Stretch. I quite like Asterius when it comes to Fate Go original Berserkers. Asterius was a rather nice pick.
さっきも少し話したけど、このゲームの企画者。
Oh, I didn't read that out.
頭のおかしな魔術師。
Though I had no clue how
そう
it
いう
was
システムを作ったの。生物と融合させ、災害のような人間を作る方法。つまり、超人連成法とも言えるもの。
Superhumans. Yes, fluffy. Fua fua. Fua fua. Ah, mortals, there's such... Fluff is great. Listen to me. Fluff is great. There's absolutely nothing better than just a whole bunch of fluff. Fluffy is an excellent character aspect.
超人?
ふわふわ。
変人の間違いだろ。
Okeanos was worth it for... Yeah. I kind of wish Iskander was around for Okeanos though, because, you know, obviously. Though I genuinely feel like Fate Grand Order, like, nothing really blew me away as a story until Camelot. Camelot went hard. Bedivere is the best. Or Demons.
あの博物館にギロチンを運び込んだのはお前らじゃないのか?
The Fate Zero event being an alternate take on, like, an alternate version of the events of Fate Zero, where Wave of Velvet is trying to get involved, but like things have changed from when he went through it. It was handled very well, and I like the having Irisville as a welfare servant is very nice. And obviously, you guys know I have Kiritsugamiya. I don't play Grand Order at the moment, but I have him. Yeah, the singularities until if Nasu started writing with Camelot, that explains the sudden jump in quality. Have you seen Septem? Septem is abysmal. Septem is an insult to Nero's character.
違うわよ。それこそ偶然の産物でしょ。理不尽に発生するから災害なんだし。もっとも私たちはあらかじめ予測できていたけどね。
I'll talk about Septem. I'll rail against Septem. I'll rail against everybody who calls. I'll rail against the fact that now a bunch of people don't like Nero because they see stuff like Fate, like Septem and Fate Extella, and they're like, Nero is annoying. You boobs, play extra. Silly. Where she's actually, you know, good. And not butchered. Yeah, Boudica doesn't deserve to be the joke that she is. Boudica deserves so much more. Boudica is... Listen, Boudica was my rider of choice up until... And like absolutely my silver rider of choice. And the fact that she gets nothing so many years in, has she still not gotten anything? Not even a swimsuit servant? Has she still got nothing? No Avenger form? No? Seriously, just gonna give her anti-Roman and have her take this stupid role in Septem and that's it? Yeah, well, it's not a port, but if you're talking about the extra remake. Only the meme in that summer event. Did she actually get a summer swimsuit? Like a summer outfit? Because I don't keep up with all of those. Because the only one I really needed was Kiyohime's. But, the point of a swimsuit is to get her another servant. Like another player, like a bunch of other servants get them. Why not Boudica? And it could be any kind of swimsuit. Imagine a competition swimsuit, right? Imagine Boudica in a competition swimsuit. That's a whole different vibe. Oh, you're very excused. Don't ever feel you have to be excused. It's fine. Just a boss as an Avenger. An actual story and iteration. That's not gonna happen. That's straight up not gonna happen. The whole point of me saying at least a swimsuit is because there's at least a chance of that for every female servant. I know my girl Kiyohime has a swimsuit version, and there's no other forms of her. We are just talking about Fate instead of reading this visual novel, I'm sorry. And that was why they came to the city, or so Sakurai implied. I must be alienating everybody who doesn't know what any of this is. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, mortals. No, it's my fault. It's all my fault. Mortals, you're never at fault. Never apologize to me for anything. And I will forgive you for all things. You're never at fault. Also, stop. No. Don't uo over Kiyohime. None of that. The training of superhumans to merge with calamitous sorcery, wielding it freely. They reign supreme, for such beings of heretical laws would never be defeated by ordinary mortals. Airwig Kite. To proclaim victory by destroying and transcending eternity. To wield an arnerb and devour souls, for all the sake of breaking the shackles of this foreknowledge, or ghetto.
どうかした？
いや、なんでもない。とにかくこれからそれを俺に教えるって言うんだな。
Oh, the edge of her swimsuit that looks like flames is top tier. Yes, yes. I use just like I have my Kiyohime, my Berserker Kiyohime in green form, like not with the white hair and stuff, but the ponytail with the level 3 ascension of swimsuit Kiyohime is excellent. Oh wait, is that a ponytail? I forget how it is. Which one's the ponytail? I might have them mixed up in my head. I can never tell. Oh no! You don't want to be cultured enough. It's not culture to understand fake grand order. It's a path of hell that one walks.
土台はすでにできていないとおかしいし。だからまあこんな面倒やってないで本番始めても結構対応するかもしれない。漫画っぽくピンチになったら力が目覚めるみたいな展開でね。
Yes, fake grand order is almost anti-culture.
実際そうさせろって意見もあったけど上の意向でそれは却下。だから私がここにいる。でもこれは手取り足取りやって伝えられるようなものじゃないのよ。
It's certainly anti, you know, getting Type Moon to get off their butts and make stuff.
大事なのは魂で感じること。身も蓋もない言い方だけど、こればかりは才能の問題だから。
This is true of many things, mortals. It's all about the soul.
努力すればなんとかなるなんて思わない方がいい。習えば誰でもそれなりになれるような基準を底辺に合わせてるものとは違うからね。手出して。
Yeah, finally the Tsukihime remake is being released. 13 years. Oh. Honestly, like, the fact that they eclipsed the wait for Final Fantasy 15, I am impressed. I am impressed, Type Moon. I am impressed that you could inflict more pain upon people than Square Enix can inflict upon me. Sakurai walked right up to me.
そう、右手。力抜いてよ。それをこう。
She pushed my right hand onto the desk I've been standing next to, with the palm down.
まだちょっと痛いかもしれないけど、死ぬわけじゃなし。我慢しなさい。
Well, obviously, my recommendation for you, TT, is to read the VN. Read the Fate Stay Night VN. It's honestly a good read.
Oh.
It happened all too suddenly. He's been shot! Somebody get an ambulance! Wait, do you hear that? Do you hear that, mortals? Do you hear it? 'Cause it sounds like the sound of me headbanging. Alright, that was weird. Let's not do that again. But this is really funky. What the hell? Did she just shoot me in the head with a gun? No, don't clip that. 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 Don't clip that.
痛かった?
Oh no, you'll find no Tsukihime talk here. It's all like I'm a pleb when it comes to Tsukihime. It's all fate. Da 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 da. Listen to this guitar shred. Just jam for a while, mortals. Actually, give me a sec. I need to. Yeah, let me just jam for a bit. This game has such a good soundtrack. Alright.
ふざけろ。いきなり何の真似だ。
Yep, sound is so important to visual novels. That's why I like them. Because I like books because you can just read them to whatever you like. And same with manga, right? But there's something really special about something you read having its own soundtrack and voices. I think that's really special. Visual novel soundtracks are great, they really are. And iconic as hell. Absolutely iconic as hell. I couldn't move my right hand. Kay was gripping it with the force of a vice, while I felt my brain frying with intense pain.
まだ弾は残ってる。今から10秒後にまた撃つから。早くなんとかしないと。手首から先が
She's
なく
going
な
to
る。
shoot again every 10 seconds? This is how she activates it?
9、8、7、6。
Was she serious? I did everything in my power to shake my arm free, but Sakura's iron grip wouldn't budge an inch.
3、2、1。
Ooh.
はい、また10秒後。
This? I'm not going to say that word.
頭を使いなさい、藤井君。逃げる方法はそれだけじゃないでしょ。
This woman of ill repute. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Shoot me? Haha. I feel like it's very not difficult for me to avoid swearing, so I should try and do that when possible. It feels a bit nasty sometimes to do it. I do sometimes get too caught up in things and I go off with the swears. So I apologize in advance for that.
7、6、5、4。
Damn it, get real! As much as it pissed me off she was right in that I couldn't beat her in terms of physical strength, but then what was I supposed to do? Turn your right hand into a guillotine.
3、2、1。呆れた。あなた鈍いのね。
Paying no heed to my glare, Sakurai began counting down again. If this kept up, I wouldn't be able to use my right hand ever again. I had to think of something, and fast, real fast. I couldn't break free of her grip. We were too close for me to punch or kick her, and even if I could, I hardly doubted it would work. It's simple. You just don't. When you feel the urge, you just don't. I feel like it's just a matter of practice. I don't think there's any technique I can teach you. In other words, it was impossible for me to break free, in which case the other way would be to destroy the desk acting as a pedestal for my squashed right hand. But how? But wait a second. I couldn't. This wasn't something a person could just do with their bare hands, but wait a second. What if I used the tool, one that required no strength to be wielded?
2、1。
Wait, hold on. Couldn't you just kick the table? Like, if you... Okay, what if you... Like, what if he just hooked his foot around the table and, like, yanked it? It'd screw with the balance. And, you know, his right hand would come free. Wouldn't it? I feel like that would work. Right, I had a tool. I'd use it. Just like Kasumi did that night.
0。
It took a mere second.
お見事。
We did it. When I snapped back to reality, the desk had been cleaved in two.
今のが活動。生物の特性を生身に乗せる基本中の基本。あなたのはギロチンだからこういうことができる。しかも全方位に向くようね。
It's an honor. It's a guillotine. Yes, happy words, happy words. Happy. I was only aiming to cleave the desk in two, but that wasn't all that happened. Sakurai's gun had broken to pieces and her finger was bleeding. I recalled how nothing I did affected Wilhelm. His skin was stiffer than steel, to the point where my fists and legs would break when I tried to hit him. Sakurai was just like him, yet I succeeded in hurting her. In other words, I could beat them. I could use this to win.
手はまだ痛い？藤井君？
いや、
I shook my head to clear my thoughts and looked down at my shot hand.
常識外れだな。本当に。
I felt something akin to heat, but the pain itself was already very faint. So his hand heals whenever he turns it into a guillotine. That's cool.
じきに何も感じなくなるし、そもそも銃なんかじゃ血の一滴も出なくなるわよ。
The pain.
その怪我だって明日の朝には消えるでしょうしね。
It fades. Another nonsensical claim. Was she
存
serious?
在としての密度の問題。普通の人間なら魂は一つだけど、
Ah, it's
生物
soul
を飲んで
density,
いるあ
soul
なたは
density.
その分だけ強化されていく。つまり
殺せば殺すほど強くなる。
そうよ。察しがいいわね。生物の本質は魂ぐらい。銃をはじめとする対人武器は最大効率で使用しても一撃一殺が限度でしょ。そんなものじゃ。
Oh, I get it. So that's why. Because you have to have something that can kill a huge number of people. Because if it's just like a bullet, you typically only kill like one, maybe a couple of people with one bullet. But if you've got hundreds and thousands of souls, then that's nothing. A swarm of souls, yeah, a swarm of souls, basically, yes. Soul-crushing customer service reps. I could never work in customer service. The communication with mortals that would be required, I simply would not be capable of something like that. I have the greatest respect for anybody who works in a customer service role, and whenever I'm interacting with them from the perspective of said customer, of being said customer, I try to treat them with as much respect and civility and kindness as I can possibly muster. Because they must have to deal with some terrible stuff.
参考までに言っておくとね。レイやマレウスは大空襲の中でも無
And
傷
I've
だっ
heard
たらし
people
い。
be like, oh, I don't mind getting mad at the customer service person. I don't mind, you know, being curt with them or rude to them. They get paid for it. It's their job. It's fine. They're like, no, that's a human being. That's a human being that person is. That's a human. Please treat them nicely and with respect and kindness, because like it doesn't cost you anything. Anyway, Bay and Malleus weren't even hurt by an air raid. Oof.
それが真っ当な手段かよ。
That's the thing. Humans have immense capability for cruelty, and the basis for that cruelty is simply the fact of how incredibly easy it is for humans to dehumanize other humans, because it's so incredibly easy, right? For a human to look at another human, and feel nothing, as long as they have categorized that individual as not human, and they do not update their category to make that person a human. This is why humans are capable of cruelty towards others, because it's hard to be cruel to humans. So you just categorize them as non-human. And that's what a lot of people seem to do with people like janitors or customer service reps. Or, well, customer service people. Not representatives. Though I guess they could be representatives of customer service. The point is that it's very easy for humans to dehumanize, and the dehumanizing is something you should fight against. Nah, janitors are human, and janitors are some of the nicest people that have to go around, and everybody kind of ignores their existence. And I think that's kind of sad. But like, I do it too though, because I'm the worst and I hate myself for it. Hi, 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 hi. Wait, I'm trying to read a VN, but I keep getting distracted and having conversations.
少なくとも普通の人間が想像しうる破壊という意味においては
A weapon capable of
一
killing
発で何
thousands
千
in a
人も
single
殺せる
blow.
武器じゃないとお話にならないわ。
I'm not sure that. The guillotine is powerful, but I'm not sure it's that powerful. I don't think I could decapitate Kay right now then. But yes, basically be kind to other people. I feel like that's the message to leave with. Be kind to other people, because other people are all just people like you. You see?
第一、ただの銃で殺せる相手ならやり方次第で女子供でも殺せる相手ってことになる。そんなもの脅威というには程遠いし超人なんてとても言えない。
Übermenschen.
例えば睨んだだけで物体を燃やせる存在がいたとしてそれと戦うことになったらあなたどうする？
どうするってそんなの簡単な話だろ。
そう、武器がどれだけ強力でもそれを使うのがただの人間ならどうとでもなる。大事なのは身体的な性能と勘の良さ。この部分が人間の範疇だったり分かりやすい弱点があれば理論上誰にでも殺せるのよ。だから私たちは
Basically, high soul density, super strong, can't be killed by ordinary humans.
卑怯な話だ。
Erasing your blind spots was the ironclad rule of all competition, but there could be no competition in the first place if one party completely covered them up. A competition would mean an equal chance of winning or losing. If what Sakurai told me was the truth, then these people were invincible within the realm of common sense. They lacked the kind of simple weak points that vampires or werewolves had. Hence the whole calamity label, huh? Well, we can still try and stake them. Calling them an extremely dangerous threat would be an understatement. Their power bordered on the absurd, to the point where merely crossing their path would be akin to encountering a tornado, one would either flee or abandon all hope.
卑怯。確かにそうでしょうね。でもだからこそ私たちは勝てない。花から勝負にならないからね。ジャンルが違うのよ。私たちとその他じゃ。
Ah, it's a cross genre sort of thing.
皮肉な話よ。敗北を拭い去る力を磨けば磨くほど私たちは勝てなくなる。あなたに会えて本当によかった。
Genre, huh? I'd already heard reasoning like that before, and understanding it aside, I sure as hell knew all about it. So, she's glad to have met Rin? But I couldn't help but feel an odd sense of discomfort from that abnormal monologue of hers. Sure, the fact she went on and on about all this nonsense with a straight face was plenty weird in itself, but I no longer felt any pain in my right hand. Did that place me in the same league as
話
them?
が少しそれたわね。ここからは端的に説明するけど、生異物を操るエイビヒカイトには熟練度に応じた異界がある。どんなことにも共通する基本がそうであるように、慣れればより強くなるのよ。
Become stronger the more familiar you get with
今
it.
のあなたは活動異界。基本中の基本。レベル1。
Level 1.
さっき話した
Level
睨むだけで燃やす云々と同じレベルね。意識するだけで物が切れる。
1. Ah,
体はまだそれほど強くない。
our bodies and strong mortals. We must do our reps.
致命傷を負わなければ大抵の怪我は治るけど、拳銃程度で血を流し急所を潰されれば死んでしまう。
Well, this is hardly putting me on the same level as them.
多少人より上ってだけで。
True. I wasn't particularly a weakling, so normally it would have to be pretty much impossible for someone with a slender build like Sakurai to overpower me.
人を怪力女みたいな目で見ないでよ。これでも仲間内じゃ非力な方なんだけど。
Your peers are also freaks, if not more so.
でもまあ、
So,
つ
you
まり
know.
そういうことね。今のあなたと私じゃ異界が違うから基本性能に差が出ているだけ。
Performance gap.
私の異界はレベル3。レイやマレウスも同じ領域だから。
Wait, their standard is 3. It's not even a 2? I have to go up 2 degrees?
レベル 3?
実際各異界ごと慣れるための壁はあるけど、 あなたのいる活動以外は特にそれがきついわよ。言ってしまえば生物に振り回されている状態だから暴走しやすいし自滅しやすい。
だったら
This
レ
is
ベル2
high
になればマ
difficulty
シになるの
mortals.
か。
High difficulty. High. Alright.
ええ、少なくとも制御不能になって無秩序に周りを。レベル2は形成。あなたの中にある災害、生物の形をなすこと。狂気を狂気に具現化し、ここに至れば私たちとそう変わらないことができるようになるはずよ。
What type is her? So if level 2 is doing the same things as them, then what is level 3? At level 2 I could do the same things as those guys. Then what was level 3?
考えてること
Moderate
結
difficulty.
構顔に出るのね、藤井君。でもその疑問には答えられないというより答えるべきじゃないことかな。これに関して
So I guess I'll just have to
知
reach
識が
level
足
3
を
on
引っ
my
張り
own.
かねないし、だからあまり上を見ないで、今は形成以下を目指しなさい。もちろん活動になれることが前提だけど。
お前と同じタイプっていうのは。
形成に入ることでさらに4種類のタイプ分けがされるの。
There are 4 types of Ewig kite users
同じ
based
AB
on
回答の
formation.
使い手でもそのスタイルには差異がある。生物をどのように武器化するか、何が得てで何が増えてか、まあ血液型性格判断みたいなものよ。それであなたは私と同じタイプじゃないかと思った。
Ah, the old blood type thing. What blood type are you, mortals? I'm O positive. I know that because whenever because when the first time you go to donate blood, they can let you know what type you are. I don't know what the Japanese blood type personality whole thing is like for O plus though. So, wow, O minus. That's actually pretty rare. I'm pretty sure. Isn't O minus the universal donor? That means you can donate to anybody. I know positives are much more common than negatives, but O is and when it comes to the lettering, O is the rarest. Yeah, that's very lucky. I wish I was universal donor. I can only donate to people with positive blood types. But I think I'm pretty good with yeah, universal recipient would be A plus, would be A positive. I think it'd be A positive, yeah. But yeah, I can only donate to people who I can only donate to A positives, B positives, AB positives, and O positives. I don't know if yeah, I'm sure blood type also matters for the plasma donations. You can do those too, but they it takes a lot longer. You're in the chair for about an hour while they take take your blood out of you and put it back in after they spin it around a lot to get the plasma out. It's fun to donate blood. I enjoy it a lot.
別にただ分かったようなことを言われたくないだけだ。
RH negative bros. Oh no. Besides, anyone who felt happy to hear they were like someone else probably had very little in the way of pride and self-esteem. At the very least, I sure as hell wasn't like that.
気に障ったのならごめんなさい。悪気はなかったんだけど、ともかく話はだいたいこんなところよ。今日あなたは活動をしっかりと意識した。その感覚を忘れなければ
Thanks for the assist,
今までより
okay, but you're still the
抑えられ
inferior
るようにな
Leonhardt.
るでしょう。そして早く形勢を覚えなさい。売るのも買うのもそれからよ。あなたの中にある災害を狂気を狂気に具現化する。形をなして武装する。手っ取り早いのは経験を重ねて生物の形をつかむこと。綾瀬さんがやった分で潜在的には近いところまで行ってるはずよ。時間が惜しいなら さらに足してみればいい。
Yeah, she does kind of have a lot of squall vibes.
普通なら100人、不器用ならその3倍。センスがあれば2、30人でものにできるかもしれない。ここ、そういう意味じゃ
No touch,
ちょうど
no
いい
touch
水
the
がいっ
students,
ぱ
no
い転がっ
touch.
てるじゃない。お望みなら私も手伝ってあげるから。
おい、
I grabbed Sakurai by her cuff in an
何？
instant.
ちょうどいい機会だから言っておくぞ。
I couldn't say it to Rusalka. I didn't have the right to do it back then. But now, I may still have been inexperienced. But now that I was aware of my weapon,
俺の目の届く範囲で人が死んだらお前を殺すぞ。二度とさっきみたいなことを口にするな。お前らの目的が俺なら俺だけの相手をしてろ。
浮気には厳しいタイプ？
ああ、俺はやきもち焼きなんだよ。フラフラしてる女は好きじゃない。
the real jealous type. I don't know what type I am.
心配するな、待たせはしない。すぐに満足させてやるから。
そう。
Sakurai gave a smirk, unaffected by my threat. She cupped my face into her hands and then began to whisper in a loving tone.
いいわよ。だったら早くテクニシャンになってちょうだい。
The
私は
say-so
一
type.
途な
I'd
女
like
だ
to
け
be.
ど、他の連中は違う。
I'm not very say-so, but I'd like to be.
あなたが満足させてあげないと何をするかわからない。誓うわ、ここに。私は以降、あなたとだけ恋愛する。
Okay, I don't even like you. I don't. It's hard. It's hard, mortals, when something like this gets said to you. Like, It's not gonna work on me. 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 I'm weak to people saying stuff like this. I'm weak to people saying that. But in this case, Kay's just playing around. So resist, and also be gone. You're not Kasumi.
あなたは私以外にも
Disregard harlots. Acquire tomboy. Yes, the tomboy childhood best friend.
特にその中でも
Stay true to the course, lads. Stick to the path. Samael, Machina, Scriber, and finally, the golden beast, the harbinger of the guiding light.
どうかした？
He's getting shown stuff by, Mercurius. I let go of Sakurai in a rough manner, putting some distance between us. What was that? Some illusion she
顔
conjured
色
up?
が良くないわね。
Well, she was probably more than capable of pulling that off. Hell, nothing would surprise me at this point. This lecture may have just been a way of showing some level of mercy towards one's enemy, but it helped me realize how I could fight them. It felt shameful to be so obviously excited over my freshly realized powers, but now is hardly the time to worry about appearances. I had to become stronger as soon as possible. These psychos weren't going to sit back and wait for me all day. At any rate, the game had now begun for real. If they attacked me, I'd fight back, and even if they didn't, I couldn't just leave them to their own devices. I still had doubts about this entire thing as a whole, but... What was that? What was that? An abrupt wave of static blared through the intercom speaker in the classroom.
シュピーレか。
Sakurai uttered that name, visibly exasperated, and as she did, the voice over the intercom grew clearer. Though he was using the intercom as a way to talk, it sounded more like the voice of a ghost mixed in with the music. This PA wasn't being done through normal means. Wait, someone else had been watching us this whole time? Seriously?
まったく素晴らしい勇気です。四半世紀に満たない人生とはいえ、それまで積み上げてきたものを守るために戦う時、人は何よりも強くなれる。私はあなたを高く評価しますよ、ザラトゥストラ。さすがはさすが、副首領閣下のお眼鏡にかなっただけのことはある。おまけにあなた、どうやら米から聞いた通りですね。今回のことが始まる前からおそらくすでに経験を。
シュピーネ、今横槍を入れてほしくない。野暮はするな。
これは失礼ですが、レオンハルト、
Oh my god, they're all after him. They're all after Ren, his purity. We must protect him. We must protect Ren's purity from this round table of degenerates.
モテない男のひがみか。情けない。それで顔は見せないのか。
遠慮しておきましょう。私はあなたのように美しくない。もともと今日はそれゆえに代理を頼んだのですからね。
The voice over the speaker sounded shrill and physically unpleasant, like nails on a chalkboard. His tone was polite to a fault, yet I could sense hints of malice and darkness lingering beneath that veil. I don't think anyone's after my purity, surely not. He was clearly not right in the head. That said, he had neither the psychotic aura of Wilhelm, nor the biting mockery of Rusalka, or the sheer sagacity of Sakurai. I think that's sagacity. Might be sagacity. No, it's gotta be sagacity, surely. He was just purely unpleasant. I felt like he was inspecting me. Like a scientist did his lab rat, which sent a chill down my spine. So this is what he wanted Leonhardt for. I yawn. Sorry. So this is what he wanted Leonhardt for.
清掃13騎士団黒煙卓第10位ロートシュピーネ。残念ながら本名はすでに捨ててしまった身ですので、その称号しか持ち合わせていませんがね。
So he doesn't have any other name. Only one name. That would be good. That would be very, very nice if that was the case.
では今夜はこれで。レオンハルトにも感謝をしてあげてください。アウビーダズ。
To materialize madness into a weapon, to have it take shape and wield it, did that mean to face off against one's inner self? The dark impulses slumbering within one's being. To look at the kind of things men normally suppressed and chose not to see in order to lead peaceful everyday lives. In other words, to me there existed but one ultimate taboo, a taboo that I hesitated to speak of, let alone remember. The very thing that burned into my eyes 11 years ago. She urged me to face it head on, to claim it, to give it form? Ridiculous, I would never. Opening my eyes, I found myself upon a twilight beach. The very same shoreline from the dream I'd been having every night since I was discharged. I lingered here all alone, or perhaps not quite.
いい加減名前くらい名乗ってみないか。
Mortals, we have a sprite for her. It's Guillotine Girl, everybody. Give it up for Guillotine Girl. We actually like her, unlike Kay. Miss Headless. Oh, look at that. Look, she's got the ahoge. She has the powerful ahoge, and look at the way her hair is like. She's got the little tufts coming out to the sides. Guillotine Shaman. Oh, ahoge. It's ahoge. It's ahoge. It means, I said it wrong. It's ahoge. It means, what does it mean? Idiot hair? Aho is idiot, and gay is hair. Ahoge. Yeah, I don't know what the other one is. I see them both around, like in writing a lot. So I mix them up because they are very similar syllable-wise. Oh, it's a lewd then. Oh. We'll certainly avoid that. That is an ahoge right there. Ahoges are often signs of a protagonist, or, you know, they're just a they're just a good charm point, I feel like. And she's got a very nice one. It fits in well with the other tufts. And look at that, she's got the hair. We met. Hey, models. I'm sorry to do this, but hold on 1 second. If I do this, will this, look, we match. We match because we both have, we have hair covering our eyes. But hers is the opposite one. I feel a certain kinship. I feel a certain kinship with this woman. Now all I need is an ahoge, yes. Not an ahogeo, an ahoge. Carmine in the sunset. I would like to. I quite like sunset. I quite like sunrise, and I quite like sunset. I would like to experience a twilight beach with you mortals like this. I really would. We could have a beach picnic. Lay something out on the sand. We can all talk and laugh and have have drinks together. I'll bring snacks. Oh no. Thank you for it doesn't matter if it's unrelated. Actually, there are a lot of VTubers that are been playing Age of Empires 2 recently. I recently played against another VTuber at it, and like there's a whole bunch of people interested in playing it recently. I feel like there's going to be a lot of VTubers playing Age of Empires 2 in the future. So look forward to that. All right. I'll get down now. I'll get out of her way. The unattractive me shall slink back here so that you can gaze upon her beauty without me in the way. Alright, let's see here if I can get the tab back up. Yes, I turned around to find a girl of light blonde hair with green eyes standing before me, and that is a great color combination. An absolutely legendary color combination. Her skin was pale, her dress crude, tattered even. She looked at me with the same childish gaze as always. I'd more or less figured out from her decapitation scar, as well as her otherworldly appearance, that she was no living human, but... She was likely one of those ghosts I had so much trouble with.
He thinks she's a ghost.
Oh! The sprites in this game really are top-notch. Look at that, mortals. Look at that. Just look at that. The pose. The expression. Look how forlorn she looks. Yeah, I know, right? Your heart, my heart. My heart. Ah. The scar is a charm point. The decapitation scar is very much a charm point. Maybe I should get one. That look on her face made me feel like I was bullying her or something. No bullying, mortals. No bullying. Only protect. Only protect. Sakurai described me as a lightning conductor, a scapegoat to draw in disasters, in which case this girl had to be that. Although she didn't feel like a disaster or lightning, appearances could be deceiving, Rusalka being one prime example. Hell, she was the source of all this in the first place. Normally this is where I would voice a grumble or two, but with this girl I just couldn't bring myself to do that. And yet we continue our roller coaster ride of the heart with another cute sprite. They're really getting a lot of mileage out of this. Look at that. Look at that smile. Now that's a smile we can get behind protecting, not Leonhardt's smile. This is the real deal, mortals. The real deal. Still gonna go for Kasumi first, but no, we're sticking to the plan. We're staying the course. A CG that belongs at the end of a character's true end or something. Yeah. It is very much that kind of that kind of scene. It's very much Avalon. It's very much Saber Avalon. I wasn't the type to go easy on others, but for some reason I couldn't find it in myself to be mad at her. This girl wouldn't hurt a soul. She had no intention to do so. A part of me vaguely, but with firm conviction, believed in that. Why was that? I couldn't quite tell, but...
歌わないんだな今日。
Ah, she's so cute.
いや、そんな驚いた顔されても困るんだけど、あんたいつも歌ってたろ？あれなんだ？
I honestly wasn't expecting her to answer. However...
聞きたいですか？
Ah, this smile! This smile. It probably would be the last thing you saw before you died, considering her nature. Mortals. You know what they say, born too early to explore the world, the earth. Born too late to explore the earth. Born too early to explore the stars. Born at just the right time to look at cute anime girls. We live in such glorious times, mortals. The fact that she actually did gave me quite the surprise.
喋れるんだな。正直歌しか歌えないのかと思ってたけど。
普通はそれしかしませんよ。カリオストロにそうしてるって言われてたから。
who is also Mercurius.
カリオストロ？
あなたに似た人。でもあなたが相手なら喋ってもいいって言われました。だから嬉しい。お話できますね。
Oh, she's happy we can speak with each other. Oh.
まあ、そりゃ。
Being able to communicate with her should have been something great, but something about what she said worried me. Actually, could this Cagliostro of hers be...
あんた、っていうか君、カリオストロってあれだろ？首飾り事件の。
Count Alessandro di Cagliostro, a self-proclaimed alchemist who lived in the 18th century. The ringleader of a major scandal involving tricking the royal family out of a necklace, an incident theorized to have been the cause of the French Revolution. Wait, that's what caused the French Revolution? Somebody stole a necklace? With some swindling? That's interesting. One of the most exceptional and famous swindlers in world history. If that was the Cagliostro she'd been referring to, then...
君は18世紀のフランス人か？
わかりません。
Ah, she doesn't know. True, it probably would have been suspicious for a ghost to remember in perfect detail who they were and where they were from. Besides, her outfit made me speculate that she could have been an ordinary citizen, or someone belonging to even lower strata of society. Someone like that not having a good grasp of the calendar would come as no surprise. I didn't know what the education rate was at the time, but she didn't look like the type who lived a normal life. After a bit of pondering, I decided to change the topic.
ここはどこだ？
どこって？
この浜辺、君の故郷か？なんて名前？
サンマロ。
San Malo. Which meant that, yeah, just as I thought. I'd read something about this, so I knew that it was the name of a place in France.
ブルターニュのサンマロか。
Ah, Brittany.
なるほどね。道理で日本には見えないわけだ。
日本？
ああ、それは俺の国。っていうか、ちょっと待てよ。
Wait a second.
なんで言葉が通じてるんだ？
I was talking Japanese, and so was she, or at least I thought so. Well, whatever. It didn't particularly matter. Now, hold on a second.
ブルターニュのサンマロか。なるほどね。道理で日本には見えないわけだ。
He says Nippon,
日本？
and she says Nihon. Now, if I recall, I don't know exactly the differences between these two terms, and I believe they both refer to the country, but wouldn't she, as a foreigner who is, like, never heard of the concept of Japan, wouldn't she just parrot back exactly what he said? Why would she think to change Nippon to Nihon? I wonder. If anything, I was the idiot for trying to find logic in a dream where I was conversing with a ghost. Oh, hello. Anyway.
話を戻すけど、君の名前は？
The girl's gaze darted to the ground as she heard my question. What is this sprite? This sprite is a bit unusual for her. This is sad. Well, no, the whole point is that, it sounds like she's never heard of it before. Marie. 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 Ready to brawl. That was probably her nickname or something. I decided to wait a few moments, but she ultimately never added her last name.
マリーか。
Wait,
わかった。で、
she's
俺とは
not
話し
Marie
てもいいって
Antoinette,
言われ
right?
たそうだけど。
Because I know Marie Antoinette was decapitated. By
そ
Cagliostro.
いつのこと少し教えてくれ。
どうして？
興味がある。
Or rather, I needed to know. Because he knew I'd come here and talk to her. I understood what he was, which was exactly why I needed to know.
そいつはどんなやつだった？
あなたに似てます。
Again with the brawling! Put him up, put him up. Queensberry rules. The art of fisticuffs.
どのあたりが？
私に優しくしてくれるところとか。でもカリオストロはもうここに来ないと思う。ねえ、そうなんでしょ？ザラトス。
違う。
Oof. I unconsciously grabbed Marie's shoulder, drawing her a bit closer to me.
俺はレンだ。藤井レン。
レン？
そう。それから俺は君が言ってるやつと似てなんかいない。
I locked eyes with the bewildered Marie to emphasize that. So she really was talking about that Cagliostro. The extraordinary swindler died in prison, but according to legend, he continued to wander the earth following his demise. In other words, he still existed? A game of hide-and-seek devised by an insane sorcerer over half a century ago. Sakurai's words echoed in my mind. Mercurius. Were Marie and I brought together as his pawns? Yes, for sure. To show him the unpredictable.
レン。
その悪い。
Though the sensation lingering in my hands felt cold, it was undoubtedly the touch of human skin. Did she really die and become a ghost? Didn't that voice mention her back when I came close to dying during my fight with Wilhelm? I've never played Grand Blue, actually, which is interesting. Because it's a gacha that's original, so I suppose I could play it. But I don't know. I've never gotten into it. I suppose I don't really have any interest in original gacha because I could just play a video game instead. Abominable girl, cursed girl, pitiful girl, damned girl, hate her and love her, protect her and destroy her. She is the world's singularity, a being outside the boundaries of that law. She is dead, yet she is not. She exists outside this world's concepts. Perpetual, eternal, immortal, divine, infinite, life beyond death. Ewigkeit.
エイビヒカイト。
She was giving that to me? That guillotine? I wasn't
俺が
sure.
君とこれからは一緒にいるって。
いてくれないんですか？
I couldn't answer that. Naturally, staying on this beach forever was out of the question, but I didn't really think she meant that. She wasn't gonna haunt me forever, right? I could really do without that, thanks.
私が必要になるって。
言われたのか。
はい。
In other words, she would serve a purpose.
ギロチンは俺の首を落とすあれはどこにある？
Marie silently pointed towards the top of a hill. There lay a guillotine, a giant, unrefined, gruesome blade forged for the purpose of executing people, glittering ever so dimly in the blood-scarlet rays of dusk. I found myself feeling like it was talking to me. Lop off their heads, sever them, hunt them, offer them up to me. Execute, dye this altar red with their blood. Claim their heads, brighter than the setting sun, hotter than raging flames. The heads of they who feasted on madness and drank of insanity, those demons that knew only the path of strife. Slay every last one of them. Make no exceptions, display no reserve, no mercy, no regret, no compassion. Offer them up as sacrifices. Do so, or perish.
ばっか言うなよ。
Then had I been summoned here to do just that? As usual, I sensed a hint of bewilderment in Marie's childish gaze as she looked up at me. I was supposed to use this girl and fight alongside her. But what exactly could a feeble girl like her do? Cagliostro. Mercurius. That insane sorcerer had assembled a messed up cast for his messed up carnival. And I was supposed to go along with it, to fulfill my assigned role, no questions asked? Bit too late to be spouting that bull. My role in this had already been locked. I had to fight. I was past the point of no return. But I was sick of others getting caught up in it. To think I had to use this unfortunate girl. Save. Okay, so this is problematic because I don't know if what will put us on the route or not. Well, that doesn't make sense anymore now, so I'm going to change it to Guillotine Girl. So here's the problem with this choice. I don't know if we'll get on her route by using her or not using her. I think we'll use her.
どうしたの？レン。
Marie stared at me with a look of bafflement and worry on her face. Was this really alright? Could I make her witness the deaths of others? It had nothing to do with morals or the fact she was a woman, but for some reason I felt this, and this alone was something I must never do. The sentiment made a wave of deja vu rush over me. Could I have possibly met this girl before? Well, we'll see. It's morning. Let's save. Just woke up. That seems appropriate. Once I'd shaken off the unpleasant aftertaste of that now all too familiar dream, I changed into a fresh set of clothes. I hadn't eaten, my hair was a mess, and I probably had bags under my eyes, but none of it mattered. Ha, doesn't matter, she cute. Fair point. I wanted to get to school as soon as possible. Naturally, my reasoning behind that was it would lower the risk of me shocking others. However, at the moment, a certain someone's voice was sinking its claws into my psyche in an unbearably annoying way. Kasumi! It is time for the bittersweet.
レン、最近起きるの早いよね。っていうかさ、昨日の夜どこか行ってたみたいだけど、ちゃんと寝てるの？なんか私気になっちゃって、あんたが帰ってくるの待ってようと思ったんだけど、なんか壁、やっぱり今までプライバシーの侵害とかしすぎちゃったのかなってちょっと反省しちゃったりなんかして。
we're making her sad by doing this, but we have to do this to protect her smile, so
最近あんた、もしかして、私避けてる？
Following my curt answer, I walked past Kasumi and outside without locking the door, then quickly descended the staircase. She didn't chase after me, nor did she complain about my attitude, and instead remained standing in front of my room, still as a statue. Damn it. Why couldn't I do things with a bit more tact? Even as I felt irritated by my own cowardness and awkwardness, I had no choice but to accept this as the correct course of action in the grand scheme of things. Ren, I understand your pain! I found myself wanting to say that cliched line straight out of a cheap manga. I wondered if she would eventually move to another city if I could get her to completely hate me. That wasn't going to happen. We'd known each other for years now. I came to understand her personality quite well. She'd probably greet me with a smile every day regardless of what I said or did to her. At the very least, trying to ignore her at a time like this would hold no meaning regardless of how hard I tried. And I couldn't forgive the part of myself that, despite being aggravated, still felt grateful for that. I had plenty of things to consider and evaluate. Making sure I didn't shock my surroundings took maximum priority, but the true problem lay beyond that.
おはよう。
Namely, figuring out how I could fight these guys. And also, figuring out how I can not run into K in the morning.
ルサルカは
休みよ。しばらくあなたの顔は見たくないって。よかったわね。
In other words, seeing my face would probably set her off. Not exactly a welcome change, but I could understand why she'd feel that way.
じゃああいつとは次に会ったら始まると思っていいんだな。
多分ね。
Sakurai gave a nod to accompany her blunt reply.
気
Weird.
持ち悪いな。
何が？
お前がだよ。何平然と俺に挨拶なんかしてるんだ。講義は昨日ので終わったんだろ。だったらしばらく用はないんじゃないのか。学校来るなよ。
それは私の勝手じゃない。
お前は別に学校が楽しいわけじゃないだろ。
いいえ。
Bullshit. Ah! I mean bull. She didn't even have a single friend. Sakurai's shameless attitude. Ah, man. Ren, you're so vicious. Ah, it pissed me off enough to make me throw a glare her way. But it had about as much effect as water off a duck's back.
別に敵対してるからって避ける必要はないでしょ。今のところ私は身の危険
My
を感じないし。
say-so reps.
あなたはどう
I'll
こうしよ
never
うとも思ってないし。
I'll never get married now. I mean, there was no way I was getting married beforehand, but like now I can't be married now. I'm not pure.
だったら顔見知り同士会えば挨拶くらいする。
全部だ。
I practically spat the word out.
座りが悪いんだよ、今の状況。不自然でわざとらしくて嘘くさく
I'm
て気持ち
sorry,
悪
I'm
いこと
sorry,
この
models.
上ない。
I've got to improve on this. And the most perplexing thing of all was the fact that I still had no idea what these freaks were ultimately after.
まさか本当に俺とやり合うのだけが目的ってわけじゃないだろう。得体が知れなさすぎるんだよ、お前らは。
Yawn. Spine's interruption yesterday prevented me from learning everything, and as such I still had questions. Whatever I found myself caught up in, I wasn't seeing the full picture. It felt almost like I was being toyed around with and dragged into something I didn't fully understand. You don't say! That's almost like that's completely exactly what's going on. Hell, if they came at me one after another, I would eventually learn a thing or two as I fought them off in the heat of the moment, but instead, reality had chosen to give me this breather. I couldn't relax. I felt sick, like I was wasting away here. No wonder I felt so bothered by all the gaps in my knowledge.
顔に似合わず好戦的なのね。まあ今は生異物の影響もあるんでしょうけど、そんなにすぐ始めたいの？ぶっつけ本番がお望みかしら。
違う。俺がマシになるまで待つって言うなら、それはそれでありがたい。どの道無視はできないし。けどお前やる気全然ないだろ。少なくとも俺を相手にするのはことのついでっていう感じだ。
Sakurai definitely didn't give me the impression of someone who came here to wage a war. From what I could tell, she must have had some other motive in mind. And I had this feeling it would be something infinitely harder to ignore. Sure, I was fighting both to protect myself and pay them back for what they did to Kasumi. Good reasons. But what if that other reason ended up being something large enough to dwarf even those motives? I doubted that Rusalka or Wilhelm gathered in this city to test their strength. Actually,
前にルサルカは約束を果たすために町へ来たって言ってたぞ。目的は一人一人で違うとも。だったらお前の目的っていうのは一体。
例えば、綾瀬さんが死んだとする。
for example, let's say Ayase were to die. We'll probably wrap up soon. Thank you. And I hope you have a wonderful rest. Sleep well. Night, RR.
何？
There we are.
氷室先輩でもいいし、退学したっていうあなたの友達でもいい。他に誰か大事な人がいるなら思い浮かべて。
おい、待てよ。
What the hell was she spouting now? I knew it was a what if scenario, but I couldn't let it pass.
怒らないでよ。別に脅しをかけてるわけじゃない。ちょっとネガティブな世間話。私たちくらいの年齢だとそういう話が盛り上がるんでしょ。前にクラスの子たちがそんなことを言ってたわ。自分の彼氏が、自分の彼女が、自分の親が、兄弟が事故でも病気でも殺人でも自殺でも何らかの不条理で大事な人を奪われたらどうしよう。泣いたり悲しんだり絶望したり怒ったり悔しがったり恨んだり、みんなそれぞれ意見を言ってた。あなたはどう？
This is a topic I'm honestly bad with. I don't know. So I don't know how I would react.
身近な誰かが死んだ時、あなたは何を思って何をする？
She talked as if it didn't concern her, but there was a somewhat pressing, oppressive tone to her questions. Despite my sudden bewilderment, I gave her an answer.
状況による。事故と病気と殺人じゃ思うこともすることも変わってくるだろう。
自殺が消えてるみたいだ。
自殺は殺人だ。死ぬまで追い詰めた奴がいるってことだし、自業自得なら自分で自分を殺してる。
なるほど。それで、あなたは結局のところ、
死人のために。
An often heard concept for sure, but no matter what the living did, the dead stayed dead. So be it a memorial service or an act of revenge, the living did that merely to make peace with their own feelings. Erasing cancer, banning all cars, or eradicating crime across the globe would not bring back those who had already fallen victim to them. Banning all cars, now that would be interesting. That would be an interesting way to, you know, collapse the world economy. This hardly needed to be explained. Everyone knew it. The dead possessed no words to speak with, no future to look forward to. In other words, claiming to do something for the dead was ultimately self-serving to the extreme. I wasn't particularly against embellishing the truth with flowery words, but...
そういうことを言ってると、死んだ奴のためにじゃなくて、死んだ奴のせいにするかもしれないだろう。
I like how it runs through Ren's thought process about responding to a question before it gives his reply, so you can understand where it comes from. What's wrong?
だから自分も含めて生きてる奴のことしか考えないな。
Have you a case to make on this topic?
そう。じゃあ、綾瀬さんが殺した人たち、彼らのために何かしようって意思もないわけね。
けじめはつけるさ。
Once I'd clarified the cause of all this, I'd eliminate it. At the moment, I was driven by that singular goal. Which was precisely why I couldn't stand this evasive, unclear attitude of hers.
あなたの硬派な考えはよくわかったわ。実際に親しい人が死んでしまっても、同じことを言えるのかどうかは知らないけど。
Oh, the dead possess no words to speak with part. I see what you're getting at. Ah, yes, that makes a lot of sense. That is true. You're right.
ほら、そんな怖い顔しないでよ。別に脅してるわけじゃないって言ってるのに、疑り深い性格なのね。
それで、
ん？
答えろよ。お前の本当の目的は？
目的ね。言ったでしょ？学校が楽しいのよ。さっきみたいに。
This woman is insane.
何年後かに思い出したら恥ずかしくなるような話を。他にも。どこのケーキ屋さんが美味しいとか、何組の誰々がかっこいいとか、テスト勉強が面倒だとか。
Is that what people talked about?
そういうのを
Is that what people talked about at
私は満
school?
喫したい。
I didn't really I was either alone or with a small group of outcasts talking about Green Lantern's power rings or something like that.
でも、私がクラスの子たちと仲良くしてると、あなたが邪推するでしょ？だからこうやって藤井君にだけ
She's just using us for her high school
あまり邪険に
experience.
しないでほしいわ。
Honestly.
そんなに迷惑？
More like I was in a mood to send her flying with a right hook. Wanting to enjoy school life? Where did she get off talking like that when she destroyed mine? So in the end, she had no intention of revealing her goal at all. Even if she was simply fooling around, all she achieved was pissing me off. I've got to come up with a good word. I need to come up with a good replacement for that.
もういい。
I don't have a standard one for that. But as I was about to leave, clicking my tongue in irritation.
だったら綾瀬さん、私と一緒に登校する？
Hearing her name sent a metaphorical electric shock over my whole body. I turned around only to be met with the sight of Kasumi peeking her head out from behind a nearby telephone pole. Peeving me off. No, that sounds weird. Are you serious? Did she hear that?
その、おはよう。
おはよう綾瀬さん。いい朝ね。
I'm very mad right now, mortals. Kasumi. Just how long had she been spying on the two of us? As ridiculous as that sounded, I had completely failed to notice
藤
her.
井君は急いでるから先に行くって言ってるけど、あなたはどうする？
Irking me is a good one. But also, Kay, don't ever talk to Kasumi. Ever. I'll kill you. I'll kill you. I'll find everything and everyone that you ever loved and I will destroy it, bit by bit. Do not!
そうだね。
Kasumi threw a glance in my direction, hesitant for a moment. She ultimately spoke up again, her tone feeling somewhat reserved.
そうだね。せっかくだから私は桜井さんと。
おい待て。
Cutting my way between them, I... Okay, where's my save? I'm gonna call this Heaven and Hell, because Kasumi is Heaven and Sakurai is Hell. I grabbed Kasumi by the wrist.
ちょっと待ってよ。
You're damn right Kasumi is waifu material. And forcefully dragged her away, ignoring Sakurai's sarcasm-laden sigh in the background. For the time being, I couldn't let them be around each other. Correct! You made the right play here, Ren.
痛いってば。なんなのよいきなり。あんた変っていうか。ちょっと聞いてるの？もうレンタラ。痛い。話して。
I realized I'd been unconsciously gripping Kasumi's arm without any restraint. Kendo champion or not, she was still a woman. I couldn't be rough to her.
レン？
なんでもない。
I couldn't tell if the cause was yesterday's training or the fact that both Sakura and I were alike in a way, but the craving I'd barely felt around her came back in full force the moment Kasumi showed up.
ねえ、桜井さんと
Ah
何
yes,
話して
she
たの？
wants to decapitate. He wants to decapitate. He wants to decapitate.
どこから聞いてた？
それは別にケーキ屋さんがどうとか、桜井さんが他の人と仲良く。
So only the last bit. That made me heave a mental sigh of relief, because just a bit before that they were talking about her killing things.
あのさ。
Before she could break into any sort of argument, I lifted a hand to silence her.
悪いけどかすみ。ちょっと一人にしてくれ。ごめんな。
And with that, I hastily passed her through the gate. I knew how much it pained Kasumi to be left out of the loop, but what else was I supposed to do? I took this dangerous power from her, along with all those painful memories, because I wanted her to leave a peaceful life as an everyday high school student. My top priority right now was to master formation as soon as possible. Sakurai's aloof evasiveness aside, it was clear as day that I'd have about a snowball's chance in hell to fend off Rusalka and Wilhelm otherwise. And so the school day drew to a close. I think we'll call it here, actually. Kasumi's still the best. Yep, that seems appropriate. We have actually been going for 3 hours 20 minutes. 3 hours 20 minutes, mortals. Which is not a... This isn't particularly long for a Dice irae stream, but I feel like we're easing back into it after a decent-sized absence. And we've made some good progress. But that'll do us. So let me move us over to Zatsudan's screen and play BGM. Alright, so that was Dice irae. Well, I mean, some of Dice irae, not all of Dice irae, obviously. That would be insane, tackling it all in one massive stream. Yes, like the school day, our time together draws to a close. For now. I just want to thank you all for coming. I know visual novel reads are not everyone's cup of tea, but I couldn't possibly be more happy reading them with the people for whom they are the cup of tea. You see? And I hope to meet with you guys next week to continue reading and see if we can get onto the Kasumi route. So thank you all for coming. You're all wonderful mortals. You're all wonderful people. You are the best. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, or simply just rest, whichever it is. Bye bye. Bye bye. Farewell. Goodbye.